My name is Rafa Sparza. Many of you know me as a friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, but that's not all I do in our sport. I'm a jiu-jitsu commentator, broadcaster, photographer, meme maker, analyst, writer, coach, tournament producer, and occasional athlete therapist. I know, it's weird. I've worn many hats in jiu-jitsu, but the one that I cherish the most is serving as a host. We have done some incredible things over the past 4 years on this show, but starting this Tuesday, we will roll out a brand new experience for fans of the Grappling Hour. Going forward, we will be offering 2 membership-based offerings. Tier number 1 will give our fans early access to my interviews. Tier 1 members will have the ability to see my interviews a month before they're released to the general public. And as a topical show that has a track record of being the first destination for some of the biggest names in our sport, you won't want to miss out on those. Members of this tier will also have access to audio versions of this show in the event that they don't want to see my face, which I totally get. Each month, subscribers will get to see 4-hour-long interviews. Tier 2 members will not only have early access to my interviews, but they will also get to see brand new content that will not be available anywhere else. New premium content includes bi-weekly podcast minisodes. These episodes are designed for the grappling superfans who want in-depth discussions with our guests on topics ranging from greatest losses to opponents that competitors respected the most. Topics will be explored for limited runs, anywhere between 4 to 10 weeks, and will give the featured guests on each episode an opportunity to share the type of unique insight that either gets lost or overlooked in most other interviews. Drill Sessions, a monthly segment where friends and guests of the show will share short videos of the techniques and sequences they're currently drilling in their gyms. Swept Under the Mat, never before seen behind-the-scenes footage from the Grappling Hour archives, and short videos and vlogs from the coverage that I do at various MMA and grappling live events. Members will also be treated to show bloopers and occasional clips of my own training sessions. There's also going to be a live chat dedicated to members of this tier that will answer questions ranging from just about anything you guys want to throw at me. And finally, members of this tier will also have the ability to pitch mini-sode episodes and occasionally submit questions for upcoming guests. To become a member, head on over to hi.page/grappling hour. You can also find the link for that page in the description below. Now listen, I know there are a lot of you who may not be able to afford these subscription tiers. That's why it's important to me to still offer some content for those people who want to support the show, but may not have the means to do so financially. So for you, we're still going to offer a condensed weekly version of the show. That show will give you the first 10 minutes of my interviews, and a month after that episode is released to our early access and premium subscribers, they will be unlocked on our YouTube page. In return, all that I ask is that you subscribe to us here on our YouTube page and that you continue to like and share the content that you enjoy on our page. I know money is tight for everybody right now, The last thing you want to do is thinking about having to invest in another subscription-based service. But I hope that you see the value in the types of interviews that I do. I hope you see the consistency of my coverage over the past 10 years, and I hope you see the overall vision that I have for this show. I have never been short on ambition. And for the next phase of this show, I'm taking a pretty big swing. So with that, I'm going to need some support. I hope that you'll come with us and help us become an even bigger and better show. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for even watching all the way to right now, even if you do nothing. It's been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, Raul Rosas, coming to you this time live. Now, originally, I thought that we were doing this live maybe about an hour ago. We ended up doing an interview. It's a long story, but you're watching with us now. So we are here for UFC, Mexican Independence Day, etc., etc. I cannot tell you how excited I am to have a guest who drove all the way up from the San Diego area. And legitimately, guys, if you have a guest that's willing to drive up from San Diego, you need to give them at least 5 submissions when you roll with them. And I'm not saying that's what I did. You can't prove that. I'm just saying I might have made rolling easier for Bobby so that he felt good about himself and the drive that he made over here. Not to say he couldn't do it on his own. It's just maybe he didn't do it today. It's hard to say.
I mean, you know, honestly, if I had come up here and I was just getting submitted, maybe I might not come back. So
it worked out in the better way. However, when you get the opportunity, I would highly say you should roll with somebody, one, Bobby Winther, and his caliber so that you can up your game. Because I can tell you this, you guys who think that you have figured out my X guard, come see me this next week. Because my man hooked me up with some tips that I was like, oh, you're rolling against me right now, and you're being incredibly helpful. Like, you stopped and you're like, hey, real quick, here's a tip on how to sweep me. And I go, okay.
And it worked. You kept doing it to me.
I mean, I wouldn't say it fully worked. I didn't get all the way up. There wouldn't be points ascribed to me. I think that was the one demoralizing thing. So I don't know if you guys have ever had this, but I keep having this in my way, which is I have people who compliment me so hard when I feel I have not accomplished the goal. Like, if Kobe said job's not done and I'm still trying to sweep him and this dude's like, you're doing great. I was like, no, I haven't completed the sweep, you dick. Let me try to do it. So if you could be so lucky, you should get a Bobby Winther. And he came and he's joining us today. We're going to watch some fights. Now, you guys may have seen a couple of these fights. We're going to tell you exactly where we're starting. We're going to fast forward. We probably won't get exactly where we were on the card, but that means that you know things that we don't know. And we're about to experience them for the very first time. Bobby, are you excited for tonight's card?
That's actually kind of exciting. Probably if you're going to watch it, you know what happens and you get to watch our reaction.
I have to tell you this. When I have done live tweeting, it is my strategy, which is I usually watch about 15 minutes delayed because my thought process has always been, oh, people like it when they think they're smarter than you because they're just like, oh, you didn't know that, you amateur. And I'm like, well, I'm watching it now. The whole point is to see my reaction, my honest reaction to all of these things.
Yo, people can be so mean on the internet too, though.
Do you have people being mean to you, though? I don't feel many people are mean to you.
No, luckily I don't. And I think that's because I don't put myself out there to be polarizing. I don't want people to be mean to me out there. It's just too much work to deal with right there.
But you legitimately are a very lovable person. So I think it is hard to dislike you. You know who is also hard to dislike? My buddy Fernando Padilla. So we are watching this fight first, just in case you guys are wondering. So let me go ahead and tell you guys. This aired originally at 7:16. So on the ESPN ticker, it says 3:16:30. That is where we are coming in. So this is Fernando Padilla's fight. He's a friend of the show. And I have to be honest with our guest. I do have a vague idea how this ends.
I do as well.
How did you know?
Because I think I saw it cut.
When they did. Okay, so we saw the same cut. Okay, we were in the middle of the interview, and I was trying to keep the TV warm.
I looked over
and I was like, oh shit, do I know this? And he doesn't. I'm going to feel like such a dick. All right, we at least both saw it at the same time. Woo!
Yeah, no, I looked over. I was like, oh, okay, hell yeah.
And
I was like, that's a good thing.
Well, it's for somebody. It wasn't good for my guy. But anyway, let's get into this.
Really?
No, I don't think so.
Did I? God,
I think we might have seen different things, but here's the good news.
My bad.
It's okay, man. Fernando Padilla, my man is 6'1". He's feeling his feels. He definitely wanted to be on this card. So his story, Fernando Padilla is somebody who was on the Dana White Looking for a Fight series. Okay.
Oh, no shit.
And they found him, and he had put together an excellent resume. And then he got put in this abyss of not being put on a card, especially when COVID's happening, all this sort of stuff. And it was partially because of his green card status. So he's waiting for this, and then he had it, and then COVID, and they're trying to figure out a fight for him.
Sucks.
And as you can see, he's a lanky motherfucker. So it is tough to do this. So I am coming in full journalistic integrity here. He is a friend of the show. All right. 4:55 on the clock, first round right now. And this is Padilla versus Nelson. Nelson in the red. Padilla, of course, in the green for the Mexican Independence Day show.
Dude, Padilla is just so tall and long for 145. Honestly, the fact that either one of these guys makes 145 is impressive.
You're not wrong, because you're looking at Nelson and you're thinking, is this dude fighting at 155?
Exactly,
Like, what is he? Like, he's a little thick for that side, but it's probably the hydration, the day that he gets to come back and look at his stuff.
You know, and that's like it's wild. Like, nowadays, people have really like figured out the science behind that, or like, and if they haven't, they shouldn't be cutting that much weight, because it's dangerous.
It is dangerous, and it's also part of the reason why, like, we were talking about this in our interview a few minutes ago, that if you want to go see it right now or wait 30 days, you can go check it out at high.page/grappling hour. But we talked about this idea that, like, no, you're pretty close to where your weight is, like, for where you compete. So when you're in off season, that's where you're at. And I got to give some credit here. He's not my guy today, but Nelson is attacking the legs very well right now.
Yeah.
A lot of these kicks are kind of turning Padilla to the side. Like, he's dragging him completely off base right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, you can kind of just, like, it's cool to see, like, long people fight, because I feel like you don't see, like, long people go against long people that much. And, like, you're kind of getting a good fight right here with it. And these guys both use their range really well. And clearly kickboxing backgrounds.
Yes.
And it's cool to see people just really attack the legs, like, methodically right here, and see, like, they're going head, body, like, they're doing everything kickboxers do. But that guy, he's chewing up that front leg, and I think that's a good tactic to use on a guy that can move very fast like Padilla.
Who's very fast, and you do want to cut away some of that reach. So if you're able to, like, drag them a little bit closer to you and turn them away, it makes you have the ability to pop and catch them with a hook.
Absolutely.
Very, very well. I've seen a lot of people use that to great effect. And to be frank, I mean, again, we've been honest. He's not the guy we're rooting for, but that was a very nice overhand right by Padilla, who in his last fight did end up getting a knockdown, or a knockout of his opponent. So would love to see that happening here today if we so get the chance.
How many fights does Padilla have?
That's a great question. Only one, because he was waiting that long. Give the phone some time.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I'm not having you drink with foam. That was not a great pour, if I'm being honest. But I'm hosting and watching and conversing.
Hey, man,
Three things at once, bro.
Now.
Look at this. Now for extra credit, switching the angles. That's right, bitch.
Shit.
Oh, shit. Look at this. I can press buttons.
Do you have the rap horn attached?
Hold on. I'm sorry. What did you say?
The rap horn where you go.
Oh, the rap horn. I thought you said the rat porn. And I was like, bro, I don't know what the fuck. The rap horn. There we go.
Yes.
We call those air horns. And you know what? Hold on. I think there is actually, they preload these things with sounds. Now, you won't be able to hear it, but I want to point this out to people who are on this sort of a thing, I think they actually build in sounds. And one of the sounds that they actually build in is the burr, burr, burr.
That's awesome. That's
So
one of my favorite things.
is that really? Did you have that played at your wedding?
No, I should have though.
Then that's how I know it's a lost opportunity, sir. But congratulations to Mrs. Winther for not having that at her wedding.
She's like, fuck that.
She'd be like, hey, by all accounts, your wife is a classy effing lady.
Oh, absolutely.
So I don't know that she was going to have that one. And we were talking off air. Man, you cleaned up nice. That was a great, nice. You got a tux, right?
Oh,
Nice
yeah.
little bow tie and whatnot.
Yep.
Classy AF, man. And you guys looked so classy that it makes me have to, if I'm a guest at your wedding, up my drinking. Normally I would have a beer or an IPA, but at that wedding, I feel like I would have to have like an old fashioned in hand. Like I would have to have a very classy effing drink. So I want to bring this up. In the time that we've been talking, there has been some good exchanges. Now, we talked about Nelson. I want to give some credit to my buddy, Fernando, who, while stalking him down, has been connecting and is at least pushing the pace, controlling the center of the octagon, and he's hunting, dude.
Yeah.
He's definitely putting Nelson on a little bit of this defensive, closes up with the last 13 seconds with some excellent changes. And, dude, even sneaking in these elbows, that's the fucking sneakiest part of having somebody that lanky, man.
Yeah, seriously, because like they can like really close that range pretty fast with those elbows.
All right, let's say this while we're in between rounds. I would forward the commercial, but we're not going to go over. This one that we're drinking right now, it is Bunny with a chainsaw, okay? Bunny with a chainsaw. Some things you should know about this. I love this. The description here says, his cuteness will cut you to pieces. It is a double dry hopped hazy India pale ale. It is 8.2 alcohol content. You want to see the can? Okay, you're going to.
I want to put one on the story.
Please. Absolutely.
These are, I don't really like know my beers like super well, but I am a sucker for a good label. And I've had beers that have great labels and they tasted terrible.
Yes.
But they got what they wanted. They got me to pay for their beer solely off their label.
I have
So if you have a good
100%
label-
bought beers based off of labels just to be like, all right, let's see how this graphic designer either cleaned this up or
'cause
misrepresented what it
impressive.
is.
It's less about the brewery, like the brewing of it, more about the graphic designing. And then when both worlds collide, well, and you're like, sick.
But you do think of this, which is if they had the wherewithal to get a good graphic designer, maybe they put that time into the beer. So that's usually why I give them the benefit of the doubt if it's
That
really,
is
really
true.
dope.
I agree.
All right, we're in round number 2 right now. 4:48 on the clock. Padilla, Nelson. It's been a very interesting round in that very first round. Padilla trying to use his range in this one. And we are seeing some things, I think, from both of these gents that have been putting for a very, very good fight thus far in. And like I said, we had Bunny with a chainsaw, and I want to go ahead and say this one. Ooh, I like that.
10-9.
They were saying 10-9 Padilla in the
I thought
first.
so as well. He was just tagging him right there.
Ooh,
That
but
was a
Nelson
good
just
right hand.
connected with a great 1-2 combination. Does lose a little bit of his footing, but he did connect on his way there, right?
Yeah. He clipped him around the head, but he's looking good right now.
And you know what? Padilla, seeing that high extended leg kick coming, backs out, finds his way back in, immediately starts pushing. And I have to tell you this. Have you ever, while fighting somebody, gotten caught up in looking at their tattoos? Because you, as a tattoo person, do you ever look at some and kind of admire and be like, that's actually a pretty sick tattoo right there?
To be honest with you, I don't think I've competed against many people that have had crazy good tattoos, except I never competed against this guy. His name is Mike Crisp. You know Mike Crisp?
I don't think so.
He came third in ADCC West Coast trials. He's a Canadian grappler out of Vancouver, and he is tatted the fuck up. His tats are sick too. They're awesome. So if there's anyone you just get lost in, like I remember me and Lauren remember just like watching. Once I got eliminated by William Tackett,
which by the way, Will, not cool. Okay.
Yeah, Will, what the hell?
Listen, Will, friend of the show, Tackett.
Yeah. So once I lost, we were just like watching the rest of them, and then me and her were watching. Like, dude, do you see this guy with the fucking tattoos? Yeah, they're sick. And then we just saw him make it like all the way to the semis, and we were like, oh, what the fuck? We were like, he's fucking good.
That's awesome, dude. Because I always tell people, I'm like, I have no tattoos on me. but I don't know that I've ever seen a piece of art that I said, oh, I want to keep that on my body forever. So when I see you guys doing it, like, oh, I didn't even look at this one. Oh, it came out okay. Like,
Yeah.
I think to myself, we're different people here.
I think that like when you put it in the context of like something of like I'm gonna put this on my body for the rest of my life, like yes, that is what you're doing, but I try not to put so much weight behind it like that.
No,
like,
but I think that's the weight you're supposed to put because
Yeah.
it is gonna be like that.
That's true. You're right. But I'm like, will it look cool right now? Or am I okay with it? Yeah, sick. Awesome.
I like to give shit to our owner here, Milton, because I'm just like, dude, I know you love the movie Pulp Fiction, but his arm has Uma Thurman snorting coke. And if you're grappling with him, much in the way I was afraid maybe Ghost was going to make an appearance looking at me, there are days when he's trying to get a crossface on me and I like see Uma Thurman snorting coke as my face is getting contorted. So it's like both she and I are taking a line at the same time. And I go, I think he did this by design. I think he's a dick and it's intimidating. And I want to say this, Fernando still in control in the second round. Looked very, very good. And Fernando gets into this kind of dirty boxing where when he starts grabbing this back of your head, man, it looks like you're in a brawl with him in those moments.
You know, honestly, and that's like a classic Mexican style of fighting right there. Like Mexicans like to stay right in the pocket and they like to just fucking throw hard as shit.
Speaking of which,
they'll take shots.
Oh,
like
that.
That's fucking
great
impressive.
Combinations here, Fernando. I want to tell people this, which is there's definitely a lot of pros in being a Mexican. One of the few cons is that you do have people being like, oh, I know you're tough as shit. And I'm like, no, listen, dude, I don't box like that. Like, you know, when people are like, you real fucking tough Mexican. I'm like, dude, I'm all right. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm probably average. I think I'll do okay in most situations. But Joey Diaz was once we're about to roll. And he just goes, he's like, you fucking savage. You fucking Mexican. Look at you. You're so fucking strong, you. And I go, thanks, brother. And he goes, no, cocksucker, listen to me. You're so fucking strong. And he goes, I once knew a Mexican who fell off a roof, got right back up. Nothing happened to him. And I go, yeah, I don't know that I'm that fucking strong, bro. Like, damn, I'm pretty sure I fall off a roof, I'm going to be like, ow.
That's some crackhead straight.
That's not just Mexican. That's a superhero, dude. You saw the origin story of something that was super sick. All right,
dude, I got a 2-0 right
That's
now.
the 2-0 for Fernando.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this right now. This is for Bunny with a chainsaw. Let's see how it goes.
Cheers.
What do you feel?
I love it. I like that. It's like a nice light beer, but like, it's all like, I don't know. It's kind of like it's exactly what I would think a hazy IPA should taste like, if that makes sense.
It does. And the nice part about it is I feel like every one of the beers that we've had tonight has a little bit of a different vibe to it.
Yeah.
So the first one, easy breezy. You're not even feeling it. You're just drinking some beer. You're at a sunny resort, chill.
What was the first one again?
The first one, well, what a dick. Way to ask me when I put it all the way over there. You're going to have to give me a second to see if I can recalibrate that.
I can go run and grab
If you wouldn't mind, that would be great. Thank you, sir. Look at this dude. This dude does it all. Get you a guest who can be here for them all. That's what it was. It was Valley Girl. Okay. Yeah, bring them back because at this point now you've made me feel like an inadequate host. Also, what I'm going to ask you to do on that, you know, I'm just going to do that part. If you could just continue talking about this fight, I got that part. Take a seat. Talk to that camera right there, sir.
That one right there.
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. Oh, sweet. All right, we're about 4:30 into the third round. Padilla versus Nelson here. Padilla looking really good. I personally have him 2-0 on the scorecards right here, but it's a fucking back and forth bloodbath here. Yeah. This is a very good fight. Nelson with these high kicks, man. You know, he's really throwing those up there, and to kind of they find the range on that is really well. Oh, Dude, he's just chopping low kicks.
So let me say this. You get, ooh, that was a nice crack there by Nelson.
Yeah.
He connected twice. Don't love to see that. Gotta be honest.
But Padilla looks like he didn't even hit him. Like,
I mean, Padilla is one of those dudes who he's going to eat shit and he knows sometimes like this is not going to be my moment, but just take it and find your range to fire back. Oh,
that was nice.
Okay. So now we're at a little bit of a nut shot. We got to give him some time to recuperate here. Have you ever had the nut shot recuperation, sir?
Not in any of my fights so far.
Thank God.
Which is nice. Like, knock on.
Yeah, I was. This is
yeah, wherever there's
just right up here. There we go.
For me. But yeah, like I'm really happy. I've obviously had it in practice and stuff before, and you realize how bad it can feel, and you're like, you know what? I hope that someone's not trying to kick me as hard as I fucking can. I was like, whenever I've like explained like illegal moves to people, I'm like, they make them illegal for a reason because they fucking hurt really bad.
The other day, one of my students, a kid, maybe about 16, this dude just forged ahead. He had no, I don't love this for Nelson. Hold on. Nelson's bleeding. And pretty profusely, it looks almost from the eye-nose region. Yeah. But he has been finding a couple of those shots. So I want to make sure that we are good in that region for Padilla. He connects with the kick. It does kind of have a little bit of stun on Padilla here. Nelson maybe starting to up his average of what his output has been.
I think his output, especially this round, is a lot better. And, you know, I'd have to look at the numbers from
but here's where it is. So on 29 to 38 for Nelson, and then it's 16, 17, 16, 16. I do always wonder if those are computed through like this round being the heaviest, because the other ones you would kind of get the impression that Padilla had the advantage.
Yeah, like he was tagging. He was the one pressing the fight. Look at those live odds. I mean, they still have Padilla kind of winning right here too. So. I mean, look at Nelson. I think he looks great this round.
Absolutely.
I think as far as like Padilla being the longer fighter here, and I think this is just so much easier said than done. People are like, you're a longer fighter, get on your jab and like work behind your jab. Like Strickland did that really well against Izzy. I think that would work it well right here as he's stalking him, probably just like throwing out that range so that way he's always marking himself out to see like, hey, where's that overhand right going to land? Can I just make a level change and shoot and stop that progression right here? And
Nelson thought about that takedown. And I got to be honest with you, as somebody who's grappled with Padilla, it is difficult to get that takedown, dude.
Yeah.
My man, like, you know, like how you're stocky and like you have good balance. I think that was one of my favorite things about rolling with you. There was a moment where I was assured in most areas, top control. And you got this kind of reach around my body, had your base, and then I'm like, well, I'm stuck now. And I like looked at you and I go, I need to find a way to move my body, and I cannot. So I know I'm about to get swept. And I was just like, this is annoying, but it is cool. So I was just like, yeah, that's pretty deep.
I think that was actually, we came up on octopus guard.
Yes, correct.
When we came up on that, yeah.
I was staring at you and I was like, there was a part of me that wanted to be like, hey, look over there real quick. Okay, great. Let me just go past.
Just like snap your fingers over here and stuff.
I'm not above it because I've definitely gotten a takedown doing this in front of somebody.
Hey, that's the way to do it. You got to start doing it. Like, I have my first match with Kevin Crane at Submission Only Series. I like clipped this spot. Hey, I mean, Kevin's very good. And
hold on. I want to point this out. In round 2, Nelson actually outstruck Padilla.
Oh.
And now he's kind of trying to work for this takedown. He gets a knee that is pretty much blocked.
That was a timely takedown attempt, though.
But in this third round, that could be very telling. Gosh. So this is going to be a very close fight. But I want to say this. With only 6 seconds left to go, I got a lot of appreciation for my buddy, Fernando Padilla.
Yeah.
Like, what a fucking great fight. Good props to both of these gents.
Damn. I feel like Padilla. Maybe I just wasn't watching round 2 as closely.
Honestly, it's one of those fights that I think you kind of know it's close.
Yeah,
And
by no means was I like. Do I think like that was a blowout there?
props on the flex here, Padilla, though. Showing off the abs.
Yeah, look at it. Oh, someone scored 30-27.
Yeah.
I can see how they scored 29-28. I thought round 2 was a lot closer than it actually was. I mean, he did land those significant strikes. I don't know. That's kind of
Well, the crowd seems to be in our. I don't know about this.
yeah.
You can't boo him when you say that, guys. That's.
How could you hate how could you boo a Canadian for
That's a good question.
Yeah, they're so
That's how you know
nice.
you're a very good person. I'm like, oh, I could boo anybody. I don't know if you know me, dude. I'm 100% that guy who's like, I don't even know this dude well enough, but boo.
fuck that guy.
Hey, man, I've gone to
That
plenty.
head kick.
Which kick, right? Oh, yeah.
That was the one we were like, oh shit, that one landed. DC keeping him honest.
DC legit just shot him down. Like, no, dude, no wrestling school is going to give you that.
Yo, he got a gnarly cut under his eye, though. Dude, Padilla has nothing to be ashamed of in that fight, man. I mean, good. I mean, good for Nelson. That's a great win to get over a guy like Padilla, like to edge him out. That's a close fight, though.
That 100% is, in my opinion, closer than perhaps even the scorecard.
Yeah.
Hold on. I love the fact that they're like, DC, get in on this.
Yeah. You know, I would do that too, though.
Would you?
I'd be like, yo, DC. I mean, how many times are you gonna get pictured with DC in the octagon, bro?
You know what? Props to you. I think that is the right call. I'm going to go ahead and mute this back down. I believe the next fight that is coming up is going to be Christos Giagos, another friend of the show. So I'm fast forwarding to that.
How do you know Christos?
So Christos originally was training out here in SoCal at a gym called Systems Training Center. We have a lot of friends who train over at that gym. And over the years, just so you know, every year around WrestleMania, we have a week called WWE BJJ Week. And it's the combination of pro wrestling and jiu-jitsu. And I like to tell athletes...
When is this week, by the way?
Usually the week of WrestleMania.
When is that?
So like April-ish. March, April.
Let me know. I want to come.
Well, here's how it works. And I'll get into what you're alluding to here because I think you think it's like an open mat kind of a thing. What happens is we usually give out a belt to the best video submission. So what I like to tell athletes is think of it like Jiu-Jitsu Halloween. So you can always be that dick, that heel that you've always wanted to be. So you find pro wrestling moves in a jiu-jitsu setting, but that doesn't mean it's just, teaching a technique. It doesn't mean it's just cutting a promo. We encourage people, like matches are very fun to watch. And I go, do whatever you feel is best for your brand. Sometimes it's just a really sick move and everybody contributes. And I swear to you, I am astounded by the talent we have because sometimes I'm like, oh, now here's the only catch. Every year, I also submit a video, but I'm out of contention for the belt. But sometimes my training partners, they try to steal my belt.
No shit.
And, then I got to come win it back. And it's really unfortunate. So there is a match for this year where we may have announced who one of the people who won is. And
it might be you.
One of the people who won. No, I can't give it to myself. That'd be really a fucking, how'd you win, Raph? And I go, I don't know. But maybe one of the guys fighting tonight won it.
Oh, that's how you guys met each other.
Well, he has traditionally submitted one in many of our years. And no, but Christos we hung around the same circles. We've done interviews together. He's a sweetheart of a human being. He's really tough to roll with. And just, I don't know. When you are on the come up with a lot of these guys, you get really happy when you see them make it to the UFC.
Absolutely, yeah.
And he is a genuinely fun, sweet soul. Now he lives over in Florida, so I don't see him as much.
Yeah, top team.
It's going to take
Cliff probably.
Maybe kill Cliff.
Yeah.
It's going to take me a second.
Yeah.
I don't want to disrespect the man and say he's at a gym that he's not at, but I want to say that he was with Mickey Gall and a few other people like that. I almost want to say at one point Gilbert Burns too.
Kill Cliff.
Kill Cliff?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. Because I was going to say it's like Gilbert Burns, Kill
Cliff. It took me a second because we have so many friends in the community. Just the moment I'm like, good question.
Yeah.
I've been drinking. I don't remember. Oh, shit.
There's so much, and like to know the teams of MMA is like very fun. Like to know the fighters of MMA is hard. To know their coaches is even harder. To know their team is even fucking harder. Like,
well, because at a certain point, your brain's like, who are you guys rolling with now? Like, who's your people?
Because the team, like, as you know, you cross train so much. You're like, he was training with that fucking dude. Like,
yeah. And I'm pretty good at remembering these things, but if I can't recall it at the exact second, I usually take a moment to be like, you know what, we'll put an addendum on this somewhere, and we'll remind people later. Like, hey, come back, find this a little bit later, and we'll put up something that reminds you where it was. So there is that. All right. So on this clock, it is 3:52:45 on here on the time stamp. Christos coming in. He is fighting this young gentleman. I'm going to have to find his exact name. My apologies. I had it a little bit earlier, and then the computer had a moment. So let me pull this up. He is fighting tonight Daniel Zulber. Yes. So Zell Huber. That's like two last names in one, unfortunately.
Can't trust that. You never really can trust that.
When you see somebody have that many nicknames, you're like, Zellhuber. No.
Like, something was weird.
Good old American Bobby Winther here has no time for your two names and your last name, sir.
Keep the syllables short. You know how we do it. Keep
Absolutely.
it nice and short.
So yeah, Christos is. Oh, dude, he's gotten more back tattoos since I've last seen him.
Sick.
Damn, dude, good on him. So I wanted to play this game, but I actually think it might be illegal to do because I want to do this thing where you show somebody's tattoo and you have to guess who it is. But if you've ever worked on a show, you actually kind of, and YouTube can kind of get away with this, but like on a professional show, you have to get the artist to sign off on those tattoos.
What?
Yep.
No way.
Yep. For professional TV, you have to get a clearance. So if you ever see people say like, hey, we need to get a signature from that artist, that's why.
No shit.
So that's why I'm like, tell me on this show before I get big.
Yeah.
And I ask you about, he's clipped him. Oh, Zell Huber with his 2.5 last names.
His 2.5 last names.
Getting rocked right now. Giagos.
Damn.
But you know what? Christos trying to stay calm, not get too excited, not really pursue it.
Yeah, I mean, when you get someone hurt like that and you think you can end that fight right there, it's very easy to kind of go Hulk mode and try to fucking finish it. He did a good job pulling himself off.
It's tough,
that
dude.
Finish was not there.
It is legitimately one of the hardest things I think to teach any athlete, which is your instinct says go for the kill, but sometimes you're gonna burn yourself out and really fucking expand all your energy.
Yeah,
dude.
seriously, like oh my, like that is underrated. Like talking about my last fight, like I was like, okay, I'm glad I emptied the tank because I asked my coach, I was like, dude, like I keep watching that finish and I'm like, I'm so embarrassed with the striking like at the end. He's like, what you did was right. He's like, you saw that the finish was there and you ended it and you went to go do it. And I was like, but he's like, we can clean up the technique later. He's like, at the end of the day, you had the instinct and you decided to kill when you needed to kill. And if you had to back off, he feels like you could back off.
I legitimately feel like this, which is you got the job done, But nice attempt there. My man went for that kind of knee pick.
Yeah.
And didn't quite get it, but then followed it up with the overhand right to kind of end that sequence.
I love that, like, transition into striking, grappling, back to the striking. That's super sick. That's high level.
Nice kick to the midsection there by Giagos as well.
So
here's what I want to say is you get the job done. You can be critical of it, but we're more pleased with the fact that you did get the job done.
Yeah.
And that when he's telling you we can clean that up, what he's saying is, man, now you're just nitpicking.
Yeah.
I
think
and that's hard. It shows that you have a high caliber for excellence. But at the same point, like, dude, you got to go home and have some terrible food afterwards.
Yeah, I had to eat a McGangbang.
It's just you'll have to watch the actual interview for that one. We're not going to give that one away for free just yet. But yes, a McGangbang. Dude, when Christos is throwing some of these leg kicks, very pleased with them, man.
Yeah, he's looking good, man. He's using, being the shorter fighter there, he's really using just the right tactics.
You've seen in this fight him trying to close that distance and recognizing, like, all right, you got a little bit of reach on me, so I'm going to have to be clever with the way that I get in and out.
Yeah, and he switches stances really well. Like, it's not obvious when he's switching. Oh, he did just take a straight right. Good way to get into that wrestling. That is what he needed right there.
Yep.
Way to switch up the attack.
Christos is one of those people who, similar to you, when you roll with, you're like, oh, this dude's just a brick.
Yeah, you're like, fuck.
Well, so he came to roll with me. I went to go visit. He was training out of Black House here for a bit. So they had a day where it was like an open mat for charity. And I haven't rolled with him in maybe 2 years or so. And I was just sitting on the mat, and he comes over, and he gets this back take on me. Just to, like, it's like a hug, but also a back take. And because I'm a fucking moron, I just go, you can have this position. Go. Because I'm like, have it. See if you get it. And I'll be damned. I was like, damn, he's getting more technical. Shit, this is way worse than when I left off with him. And it's like, anytime you roll with a fighter, it should be difficult for you.
Yeah.
But of course, I make it extra more difficult for myself by being like, yeah, sure, take my back.
Yeah,
what bad could fucking come from that? And I was like, dude, same kind of thing with you where it's a lot of pressure. And when we roll, he's very playful. Like he definitely will let positions fly and go. And he's maybe making transitions that I'm like, it's not the best for jiu-jitsu, but it sure is fucking fun to watch.
Yeah, seriously.
So he's just somebody who in the pocket is just like, hey man, like, you're not coming here to be a dick, you're coming here to train. Let's have fun.
And keeping it playful, I love that, because it's like you that's when you find the joy in the sport.
Yep.
It's like keeping it playful. And in MMA, it's so hard to find people that want to do it like that.
Oh yeah.
Like where you're like, yo, like let's just like have fun. Like what, like I have like great training. I have some great training partners that I can flow with and all. Like me, Anthony, and my friend Alex Trinidad. We're like, all of us can do it. We all go in right before the fight. We like, me and Alex, we fought on that card, and we're like in the cage, like testing it, going around, and then him and I are just fucking around. Like we're doing none of the shit our fucking opponents do. I'm Baron Boloing him. He's like dropping in for leg locks, and then we're just like stupid wrestling with each other. Like this is all before the fight. And I was like, this is like, that's what I needed to get the nerves kind of out. Like,
yeah.
I'm in the I'm on the canvas right now. I'm like where I'm gonna fight. I'm having fun. I'm like, all right, I needed that. That was awesome.
Zellhuber came in with a very nice overhand right, and Christos responded very quickly with an overhand of his own.
Yeah.
I want to say this. I find that Zen calm one of the hardest things to hit. So especially in something as high pressured as MMA, if you can do it and you got the team to pull it out of you,
yeah,
keep rolling with that, man.
Dude,
that's so great.
That is just such an underrated thing too, because you can tell when someone's like flowing. Yep. Well, like, and you can tell when somebody's like trying to find it, or like they're just trying to like figure it out. Like there wasn't really a part of like striking wise in my last fight that I was flowing, as far as like on the feet. But like when we got to the grappling exchanges, it's like, oh, business as usual. You're flowing right now.
Shit.
And then,
okay. Christos is in on a single. It's kind of like a snatch single. He tries to run the pipe, get the knee in. Now, Zellhuber defending decently. Christos runs him into the cage, not giving up on it. And Zellhuber, trying to get this underhook, succeeds on Christos' left side. He's going to switch the position on him and use that length, that body, to get that positioning over on the other side.
Yeah, Christos has got to start digging his underhook there, but he gets out. Zellhuber didn't want to be in that clinch with him.
I will be honest with you. Zellhuber has tagged Christos a couple times here, and I do wonder if Christos, his gas tank is starting to kind of deplete a little bit here, because Christos is a big dude.
Yeah, especially for the weight class.
Yeah.
Like, he is a big 55er. And I think getting tagged like that, I mean, he did eat a couple of good right hands right there. So,
yeah.
I mean, it's impressive that he looked like he didn't phase him, but you can kind of see it wearing.
This is why whenever we do these fight companions, it is the hardest for the homies, because I'm like, dude, I've had ones where I've been watching and I'm like, shit, my buddy lost. And you just have to sit there. And the worst, because again, we have the rule where I go, I want to give a toast to this guy because you beat my friend.
Yeah, and you're like,
all right,
damn it.
And I think you'll find when we end up doing the ones for ADCC, it's fucking all over the place. Like, it's me being like, who submitted who?
You're like,
God damn it, I love that dude. Yeah, great job, William Tackett.
Yeah.
You dick. You know what?
William, and then Andrew.
Hold on. Oh, yeah, I'll go down the whole line. Actually, William is the sweetheart of the group. Kayla, don't love this. Fuck. Christos is trying to get that response to the Darce, and he does get tapped. Zellhuber found a right opportunity right at an opportune moment. So here's what happens.
Clean Darce.
I think he spotted out those wrestling takedowns a few times, understood his reach would give him that choke, and timed it beautifully.
That's the thing with those with those long guys. You gotta be weary about with those long arms right there, just shooting willy-nilly and like trying to back out of it. I mean, but to be honest with you, that was Zellhuber being very quick. I'm pretty sure I think that was in the Anaconda, actually.
I think you're right.
Yeah. But either way, like, very quick with it.
Oh, look who gave us a heart sign over here.
Oh,
yup. Look.
Anthony.
Oh, can I just say this real quick? Anthony, you are in no position to give us a heart sign to a fight companion, sir. Yeah.
Oh,
Jimmy John. Oh, it's Jimmy John's. It's presenting this knockout of my friend as well.
You do hate to see it. You know, going into this game.
Hey, dude, it's a 50-50 proposition. Yeah. We know. And look at this. The switch of the arms.
That was super quick.
And look at how Christos tries to block it by grabbing around his inner side of his leg. Like, that is normally something you do when you are in a head and arm choke. Yeah. It is a good defense. The problem is, in that particular thing, when your head's kind of tilted in, it's already in the choke. And it's very difficult to relieve that pressure by trying to pump that out because you're at a bad angle.
And also, I think, being rocked is being rocked in a submission hold is way different than being like, oh yeah, you put that Anaconda on me, let me work out of it now. And you're like, just two different animals. Like, you're trying to get your wits about it, and then meanwhile, you're trying to figure out the right escape. And you might not know if it's an Anaconda or a Darce, so you don't know if the way you're going technically is the right way. All you can feel is you're getting choked faster.
You don't really have a giant amount of time to think about it. You're kind of in that spot where, all right, if I don't tap to this, I'm going out on national television.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I really don't want to do that. And dude's wearing a Mexican hat, and I want to root for him for that. So unfortunately, by the process of the rules, we do have to give him a toast. However, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have you give Daniel Zellhuber the toast. I'm going to have you look into that camera right there, because that way I can have some distance.
Makes sense.
For my fallen comrade here.
I hope you would do the same for me. But, all right, Daniel Zellhuber, congratulations on your win. That was a very, very good fight IQ to figure out where you needed to find the finish right there against a super tough opponent. Cheers to you.
Cheers. You beat up my friend. I don't like you today. It's tough. But, hey, It's a really sick finish.
That was fucking
I can't deny that. And as you know what, let's do this because we talked about this in the interview. Let's give an actual toast because we watched this together. And even though it wasn't on the full Fight Companion, I do think it does merit a toast into itself. And we're going to go and do a toast to Lupita Godinez.
Oh, yes.
Because
Absolutely.
holy shit.
Dude, yeah. She fought
Okay, great.
Reed, right?
Yes. Okay.
Reed, yeah.
So this cheers goes on out to Lupita Godinez. You beat Elise in every way possible. It was tough to watch, but as much as we felt bad for her, I have to tell you, we were in awe of your talent and your ability to basically continue on and end up still getting the finish in a savage way. Like, that was something to behold. So,
dude, I'm tapping to that arm bar.
we both tapped. We literally both here decided as a collective to tap out to that move.
Dude, shout out to Ellis Reed for sticking it out. Holy shit.
Absolutely.
Bro.
But Lupita, this is your moment. Cheers to you.
Cheers.
Well done. Oh my God. Please don't armbar me. Good Lord.
Yeah, god damn.
All right. So now we are at, I'll put this on the timestamp. It is 4:18. This is Raul Rosas, and it's 4:18:46. So he is walking out. He is wearing the traditional Mexican sombrero. And I'm going to get us our other drink right now in a second. But we also have a part that I didn't get to do in the interview segment. So the way that we do the interbrews is obviously there's beer involved, but there's also an element where we switch the way the interview format goes. So what we're about to do is I'm going to bring over 2 extra cups. In those cups, you put questions for the other person. So you get 5 questions and I get 5 questions.
Kind of like a Step Brothers type deal here.
Very similar to that. And so as we're drinking and we're watching the fights, we will have those. So I'm going to step away for a second, but tell us where you first came into the knowledge of Raul Rosas, sir.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to figure out. That's a good question. I remember was he on the Contender Series, right? Yeah, that is when the first time I saw him. I think my wife and I, we saw him on the Contender Series, and his grappling was sick. And we were like, holy shit, that guy looks awesome. And found out he's like 17, I think, when he got signed by the UFC at this time. So it was like, dude, it's just kind of cool to see a young guy get. You know, it's cool, but you always worry for young people to get signed that early because they either grow into the persona they gotta be, or they just never live up to the hype for themselves. So, you know, I think Raul Rosas Jr. is doing well. He got his first win, and then he took his first loss, his last fight. Oh my God, he's 18. Shit. He took his first loss last time, and I think that was a good experience for him. But you know, I think hopefully that opens up more of his game, and I'm excited to see what he's got right here. And also, when he got signed to the UFC, I saw a Submission Only series was posting about him, and they were like, "Oh, he came from this show," and I didn't know that, and I was like, "Oh, damn, that's super sick." And at the time, that's when I just got on to Submission Only series, so I was like, "Oh, this is a great show to be a part of."
You were asking me yesterday how I knew him, and it's from that event.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. That's what I was telling you. I didn't tell my buddy Brady, who also an MMA fighter, good record, 11-3, I think.
Damn, that's a good record.
That's a good record. But Brady's like, what, almost 30, 28, somewhere in there. And he's fighting this kid. And there's me on the sidelines going like, "Hey, bro, yeah, we got to break his arm, man. Yeah, he's 16.
Just
I know.
Send it, dude.
Like, bro, he's in this fucking I don't know what to tell you. Otherwise, he's coming for you, man." And they go to overtime. And Brady ends up winning. Now, mind you, the funniest thing about Brady is, you know, Brady and I get along very well. And Brady's one of those cats who, the first time I met him, you know, he didn't know leg locks. now he has a heel hook finish that got posted by Leg Locker, you know?
No shit. Okay.
And so I'm like, oh, this is so dope. Like, Brady's just a good student where I'm like, here's some direction. And then all these years later, with working with way better coaches and way better things, you're like, oh my God. And he's like, bro, it all happened when, it started with you. And I'm like, no, it didn't. I didn't do shit. But we're going to pause the story because there is fierce action happening right now, sir.
Raul Rosas Jr. is coming out swinging, and it's kind of cool to see him. Oh, lands a good left hand right there.
Yep. So here's my thought process on Raul Rosas. He is a very polarizing person for some reason. And I think there's a lot of people who just don't like his cockiness when he was talking about, I think he mentioned Aljo, where he said, like, yeah, I could take him down.
You just dropped him.
Oh, shit. Not only dropped him, but
he's looking for the fucking finish over here.
Yeah, this is somebody who's fighting for all of Mexican independence right now. In the mount and just unloading.
Gosh.
And I think the ref is going to step in, and he does. Holy shit.
Good for him.
All right, so here's what I wanted to say, which was I found him to be a polarizing individual with certain people. And people are like, yo, this kid doesn't belong here. The internet's like, yo, this kid's trash. That last one, it was a boy versus a man. And you go, he's very talented. I don't know how to tell you this, which is maybe he's not what you perceive to be UFC.
Yeah.
Top tier class, but he's undeniably good.
Absolutely. You cannot deny that he is a good fighter. And I think, I'm not sure if you heard me when you were getting it, but I think, oh, look at this left hand. Oh, drop. He slept him with that shit. And then he fucking comes back up. I think that second hit woke him up.
I think I saw the Undertaker eyes here. Because watch this. Watch his eyes go like, oh, shit. He went to the nether region right there, bro. Oh, shit.
And look, dude, just way to fucking swarm him here, dude. Dude, good for him.
So
he's a dangerous 135.
When I've seen people have those extreme reactions, I'm like, dude, I don't want to get into the fact that, yes, after he competed against my buddy Brady, we went over. He was paying respect to Brady. Brady was paying respect to him. I met his family. They were explaining how he's been groomed for this stuff and how this has been a big goal for him, and he's continuing to do big things, and he really has big sights for where he wants to end up. And all I could think of was, how can you not get behind that ambition? Like, yeah, I'm rooting for you too, kid.
And it's because people are jealous, I think, of that ambition, because he's a young kid who's trying to live out his dream. Like, when most people were his age, if they were doing sports, they were like, let's say they were playing football. Like, I'm 16, my dream is to be in an NFL. Well, guess what? It didn't fucking work out for most people. And then they see this kid do it. They're like, well, like, I don't like him because he's doing something. Like, whether they know it or not, like, he's doing something that they just couldn't do. And that's the sad part. That's such a sad part. A lot of people have animosity towards people. And he's in a young – this is my only issue with, I think, the UFC signing him so young is I worry for people that are that young getting all of the hate. And
not being able to handle it just yet, or not knowing what to do with it.
For him to not grow into the martial arts that he could be based off other people being like, you fucking suck, this, that, and the other – rather than him just kind of come up and be like 24 and come into the UFC and just like he dominating motherfuckers. Like, and also I hate to see young fighters get signed too early and then they take a knockout really bad when they're like 20, 21 and they just never recover that well. And you're like, so those are always my like reservations about signing someone that young. I mean, he's 18. Like, it's
right, so we just figured out Bobby's one of those people. He was on the internet comment sections and was like, this kid's a bum, he's no class. No, what you're talking about is a very human reaction to, I hope he's mentally healthy to equipped to take on all these things.
And honestly, I just think of it when I was 18. Like, I was not. Like, if I was in the spotlight right there and people were giving me a bunch of hate, I think I would have taken it a different way had I not had good guidance.
It's very difficult to know.
Yeah.
It's another thing to experience it and to get in that space of like, well, this is the reality for me. I had to deal with it and I didn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if in 5 years he was like, yeah, that loss really fucked me up.
Yeah.
You don't know those things. So I just love the fact that we have a lot of people who like to armchair quarterback. And I'm like, hey, listen, you might be right. Maybe it was too early for him.
Yeah.
Having said that, he's there.
Exactly.
And you'd be a fool not to take this opportunity and run with it. And he had one bad fight, and maybe it was a bad night. Maybe it's a bad number. And credit to his opponent. Like, don't forget all of those factors.
I was going to say, I don't even think it was a bad fight because he won the first round. Like,
he was there. It was just, I think what happened was people saw him in that body triangle and he couldn't get out.
Yeah.
And their immediate thought was amateur. But you put me in a body triangle and I had to work to get out.
Think about the best grapplers in the world nowadays. Guess what holds them there?
Yep.
A body triangle. Gordon Ryan put Andre Galval in a body triangle. Yep. Andre Galval, who's been running the scene forever, could not get out of the body triangle. And it's like...
and sometimes it happens.
Yeah.
And you get in those moments. And you know what happens? If I have the time and there's not like a major clock, maybe I have time to work out of that.
Yeah.
But if we were going like we were with rounds with specific time, I would have lost that round because I didn't get out of that bad spot. So how are people who, one, probably don't train, or two, maybe you train, but maybe you've never been put in something that high caliber, then say like trash? Because to me, I go, listen, dude, we have to respect how good his opponent was and how, yes, they're trying to set him up for success. Let's get behind that. But if you're having an independence card from Mexico, you want a guy like him.
Absolutely.
And in the 3 spot, like why not?
This is your next Jose Aldo.
Oh, yeah. Let's hope. Let's hope. And I think of it like this, which is, all right, man, you don't have to call him your guy. Nobody says you have to call him your guy. But your guy is usually, especially if you're a casual, some douchebag. So this kid has given me, other than saying like, hey, man, I think I could beat Aljo. Guess what, dude? Don't get involved in this if you don't think that you can beat top tier people. Yeah. Because if you don't have that ability to see it that far in, it's not going to get better. It gets so much fucking worse if you have that doubt.
Absolutely. And I respect that. Like for like a young guy like him to show that and it's important for him to show he has confidence. Yep. Because and to all of his opponents, if there's anything he needs to double down on in his interviews, it's the fact that he remains confident, because most people that are young, they always say they're not confident. Yep. They won't grow into their body.
That's the biggest knock against them. They're like, oh, he's got inexperience. You know, that confidence that comes with being in a cage. He just doesn't have it yet. Yeah, and you go, like, which is it, dude? It's just a narrative we're running with.
People want to pick and choose, and people want to hate.
Do you mind?
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. I was like, what? I'll talk closer.
You're like, hey, that's enough. We're taking this microphone now. You've had enough, bud. I think of it like this, which is he doesn't have to be your guy. Nobody says any of that sort of shit. Just respect what you see. Mm-hmm. So while we're on that topic, we're going to give him a toast in a second, but I do want to hear what he has to say.
Absolutely.
Hold on. Maybe I don't want to hear this interview. I want to point this out. My man could not have picked a more Mexican response. Yeah. When they're like, what do you have to say, young man?
Like, hey, at least he's not a fraud. At least he ain't no fraud.
And I have to say this. Where's the hat? I need the...
He walked in with the hat.
They should have let him interview with it, dude. I'm just saying.
That's on his coaches. The coaches got to get him the hat, bro.
I love the idea that you have a fighter here being like, no, that's a coach issue. Yeah. Not talent.
When you win a fight like that, you don't know what the fuck's going on. You're just kind of like, I did my job.
When you won your fight, though, were you in a space of, oh, okay, I don't know what's going on? Or did you have some cognizance of like, oh, okay.
Oh, I did. I just think like you're just so excited and you're like, I don't know what. It's kind of like, being hungry and trying to do things when you're hungry. You like, it just doesn't really make sense.
Sure.
I think that's like the same exact excitement. You're like, I want to do something, but not anything I put effort to seems like that's not the thing I should be doing.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me say this. We're going to go to our fourth and final beer of the day. And this is actually a hard cider. So take that for what you will. Is Julian's Hard Cider Harvest Apple 6.99. I love the fact that it's 6.99. They couldn't just say 7. They're like, it didn't hit that
They
over
know
threshold.
what they're doing there.
So, and this is a special accommodation because my man over here, Bobby, when he told me, he was just kind of like floating in, he's like, I could do a cider. I could do a spritzer if you would, a hard spritzer. And I was like, my man, he might be a little bit of a dude who wants to party over on a beach and just get on the lazy river and just have like a real nice little easy ABV average. No big deal. It's all good. I get that. I totally understand that.
My wife and I, this is a good day trip actually for anyone that lives in, I guess, in our areas, is we do a hike up in Julian.
Mm-hmm.
We go up to the city of Julian. We do like a hike up there, and then after that we go to the Julian Pie Company in town, and then we go to the cidery, this exact cidery, and then we just take the flights of the cider there, and then that's like a good old day trip.
It's so funny to me because when I was picking these beers, I'm like, let's pick something he can handle, something he can handle. He doesn't like this. He doesn't like that. Okay. And you're not super picky. You gave me a very broad spectrum. You're like, I just trust you, man. And I go, I'm not going to betray that trust. But if my man asked for a cider, I love ciders as well. I'm not going to lead you astray. When I come back with this, you're like, Julian did it. I go, oh, I didn't know that story. I didn't know any of this shit. Yeah. So I feel like that was the right way to get to this point. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to listen to what he has to say. We're going to give him a toast in a second. But what you have here, these should be 5 cards. Okay? So what I want you to do is figure out 5 questions you want to ask me, put them into this cup. I'm going to figure out 5 questions I would like to ask you. And is that 5? Is that a 6? Okay, great. Now,
and then put them into the cup.
Put them into the cup, but kind of like crumple them up. So that way they don't necessarily have a particular order to them. There are no rules as to what you can or cannot ask. So feel free. I don't love that answer. I just wanted to make sure you knew it was an open question sort of vibe. So here we have, and I'm going to play the rest of this so that we can hear what he had to say.
Uncle Sam's Unforgiven. I like that.
Honestly, I don't understand how you could dislike this. This is fun.
He's a fan favorite here.
Oh my
dude,
God.
that was beautiful.
Absolutely.
Honestly, good stoppage. He was just not going to get out of that.
Well, after that initial hit, he gave him time to respond.
Yeah.
And then with that back take where there's nothing but strikes coming from that back mount, it's not getting better, dude.
You only get 5 or 6 unanswered strikes before that referee's got to save you.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of those are getting hit behind the ear, and like they're like, yeah, that's technically not behind the head, and that is a legal strike, but like those hurt really bad.
Yeah, I would not recommend.
Yeah, those would not be.
Somebody, because the worst part is, I'm sure you even take some of those in training where you go, "Hey, bud, can you not?"
Yeah, you're like, "Uh-oh."
But it's part of the gig, dude. All right, you have one question. Feel free to put it in that cup. Okay, I have written my first. Yep, it made it in. Okay, so just in case you guys are wondering, we're about to queue up the
Oh, it's Kevin Holland versus Jack
Kevin
Della
Holland,
Maddalena.
Jack Della Mandela, who you were most excited for this fight.
I was excited for
So
this
I'm going to
fight.
put pause just so we have some time to make sure that we write these out. But before we do, have you taken a sip of this yet?
Oh, I have not.
You're quite used to this.
We got to cheers.
We absolutely do. Do you want to do the roll or should I?
I'll let you.
You're going to let me?
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
Let's do this. This toast goes on over to Raul Rosas. Raul, I want to say this to you, man. The fact that you've been able to handle this, especially on a big event day for all of us Mexicans, this is big. You came out, you represented, you gave us a beautiful walkout song, a beautiful hat, and here's what I have to say to you, young man. Good stuff. Keep it going. You're representing the culture very well. And I'm not willing to forgive you yet because guess who owes me an interview? The kid does.
He hasn't done one yet.
Straight after I said he would win the Dana White Contenders Series, I said, hey, you owe me an interview. He was like, I absolutely do. Nowhere to be seen. Are you scared?
Ooh.
Mexicans aren't scared. I know that. But yet, maybe one of us is. Cheers to you, brother. Come do an interview, jerk. Okay. And that's
a good sign.
It's very nice. It's
Yeah,
very
crisp.
It's the right way to kind of ease the throttle back on down.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's how you can know. Like, this is what I like to call professionalism.
Mm-hmm.
Raul Rosas, love you, kid, but where the fuck are you? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, get on over here, brother.
So it's 4:43:02. You can keep that on pause for a split second. We are writing the questions for one another. I think you have one, right?
Yeah, I got
All
one.
right, I got one in there as well. So we're going to take a few seconds, party amongst yourselves. Let's figure this question out. Who's going to win this year's East Coast ADCC trials?
Your boy.
That's right. But in which weight category, though?
77 kilos.
77. All right, who's winning 66? Think about that for a second.
Me.
I was like,
all of the weight
I was like, bro, you
categories.
can't compete in all the weight classes.
I'll weigh in at 66 kilo and I'll do all the matches.
Don't listen. The worst thing you could do to Mo is be like, I want to compete in all the weight classes. And he's just like, dude.
He'd just be like, no. He'd be like,
he would be like, no. But you know what the problem is? The fact that he opened the door to Gordon competing in absolute for that like super fight.
Yeah.
And that weight class.
Yeah.
It may open the door for other things that he's not thinking about yet. But he's going to be like, you're not Gordon. And you're going to be like, but there's going to be a new Gordon at some point.
There will be someone that's pretty fun. I mean, there's so many good grapplers now, bro. They're so good.
All right, let me see here. And again, don't give any tip-offs. Don't say what you're thinking as you are writing these questions. I want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you are not subscribers yet, I would love it if you like, share, and subscribe. You're watching this live, and yes, I know you probably have seen these fights. But guess what? We're not actually that far off. They're probably just completing now. And the fact that we have already blasted through 3 in record time. It's not bad.
Pretty good,
so,
actually.
I'm going to say we're making good time here. All right. So as I remind you guys to do that, you can also become a member of the Grappling Hour community by going over to hi.page/Grappling Hour. $5 a month. Just support the show. See these interviews 30 days before anybody else. Or you can become a premium member, pay a few extra dollars, and see extra bonus content that's not available anywhere else. Because guess what? The underground don't stop for hoes. We continue producing. Work. This whole month, there's a new episode every weekday this month. I don't know if you guys have figured this out. In September, every weekday has a new episode going on at 12 p.m. Do you think that's a good time slot? If not, tell me in the comments because I'm willing to put it at different times. But I thought noon is pretty good because we got East Coast people, we got West Coast people. Noon's usually a break for our West Coast folks. That's our biggest base. And for the East Coast people, 3 p.m.'s like, I give up on work. So
they should at least. At this point.
Listen, if you made it that far in and you showed up at 9 a.m., I'd be like, just put on RAF. All right, we'll just listen to this.
And let's play that out right now.
All right, I just got my second one in. Each one of us is writing 5 questions for the other person. Again, no restrictions here. My man has no idea what I'm asking him, and I for sure have no idea what he is going to ask me. And there was a glimmer in his eye when he recognized the fact that he could ask me literally anything. So
I wish, I hope they're good.
I'm not going to lie, I do too. Because it does make for a better interview if they're actually pretty good.
Like, what's your favorite color?
Sometimes there's a good story there. Mm-hmm. You don't know until you ask the question.
That is right. You can kind of get one.
But don't ask that one. Don't put that down. I want to make sure that these are the best, the top tier questions you get to. And the best part is, this is your chance to put the interviewer on their heels, which doesn't always happen when you do these. Mm-hmm. Most interviewers are like one-way street. Tell me about you. Tell me about you. Tell me about you.
Yeah.
They never say like, hey man, ask me about my deepest fear.
Yeah.
Like, they don't do that. So I'm just saying, we make sure that you get an equal opportunity here,
like,
sir.
Yeah, that always reminds me of Step Brothers. He goes like, yeah, I think we're gonna switch it up a bit today. Like, no, that's not how this works. We're actually gonna interview you.
That's why when you go, are we Step Brothers? So I was like, oh no, my man is coming in with the right reference.
Like, you're wearing a tuxedo to an interview that requires you to wash bathrooms.
I got my second. And it's so weird because you've already told me something about your McDonald's that I feel like, I'm like, dude, I don't know that I can top that. Like, even all of my like interviewing 101 questions, I'm like, no. Yeah, like, there's no beating that. Like, these people will find this out later, but in the meantime, they're going to be like, what the fuck were these guys talking about earlier?
What the fuck? A McGangbang? The hell are they talking about on that show? Hey, kids, you can't watch that show.
hey, there's a TV 14 rating now. Yeah. You're not allowed to do it. Okay, hold on.
I could fucking spell. Jesus Christ.
I'll spell it out. And if worst case scenario, I don't know what it is, I can ask you. But I'll try and make it seem like I'm fucking it up on purpose.
God, I just used the wrong word for this. All right. My wife is watching us on the live stream right now.
And what did she say?
See what she said. She said, "You're cute, and this is hilarious. I love watching this."
I'm saying, listen, hey, Mrs. Winther.
Yeah.
Okay, Mrs. Winther. Can I just say this? I've long said with my wife, if you've suffered with this, my wife has suffered on this side. So I've always said that there needs to be a female fight companion.
Oh, yeah.
Where instead of being like, man, what technique, what great skill, that they're like, I don't like the way he looks. I'm going to say it right now. I think his hair's stupid. Ooh, this dude's pretty. Who's this guy about? And my wife for years was like, this would do better numbers than yours ever will. And I go, you're not wrong.
You're not wrong.
Fuck, you're so right. And I told her, I go, just imagine these UFCs. And in the corner, it's like the women who suffer from all of the guys in combat sports, their wives get together and watch that.
Fuck this.
And they're just like, why do these dudes watch this? They all suck. Let me tell you the most embarrassing thing he did. I'm like, that would fucking crush.
That would be awesome.
Just saying, we haven't started casting yet, but something to keep in the back of your mind.
Me and Lauren, we actually every Tuesday we watch Dana White's Contender Series together. So that's like our Tuesday night ritual. We both get done, like I get done training, she gets done work, and then we like just sit down, eat dinner, and then watch that. And we're like, oh, so it's been awesome. She loves, like, if we miss the fights, like if we were to miss it tonight, we would just watch them tomorrow morning. like the whole morning just to be lazy, and like she just sits there and watch it. But she can't watch the ones that are like super bloody, because then she ends up doing the like, oh, she just makes like this, and I'm like, it got to one, like the first time like she was doing it, I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And then it was like a couple times, I was like, hey, do you need me to turn this off? Like, I can watch this on my phone if this is bothering. She's like, no, it's fine. I was like, okay, you're just gonna have to tone it down with the noises.
I think the hard part is we're all pretty good in our real lives of not being, you know, a lot of people can be stoic, they can be very chill. But when it comes to this stuff, there is something about it. Last week I told you we're at a wedding, and I'm sitting there, and it's the Izzy and Strickland fight, and we had it playing in the bar, and it's on somebody's phone, and they're playing really good songs, and I'm like,
whoa, that's a tough one, bro.
And I like to tell people this, and we talked about a similar version of this for how I book people, which is, hey, if you guys are cool with me, we're cool with you. And if you show for me, I show for you. We're going to bring a whole thing. We'll make a fun day of it. No big. If you invite me to your wedding, you don't have to. You got married.
Yeah.
My wife and I got married.
I'm not having another wedding.
but that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you don't have to invite us to yours, because we would love to be there. But if you've ever put on a wedding, you know how much work goes into it. So why I tell people, listen, if you want to go to a courtroom, not offended. Yeah. My best friend went to a courtroom. Love you, bro. I'm here for you. Tell me when the reception is.
Yeah.
No reception, all good. Can I send a gift? Because you're a grown-up now. You don't have to be like, I'm really sad they didn't have a wedding, so I would have liked to go. No, not your choice. You don't get to choose. But if they do have a wedding and they do invite you, like tell people,
be there.
You might get the full version of Raph.
Yeah.
So last week the guys were like, yo, I didn't know Raph can dance. And I was like, because you've never invited me to a wedding. I was like, none of you guys have gotten married yet. I was like, you took the niceness of inviting my wife and I. You're going to get a full fucking show. So that means a lot of kissing people. Oh, look at you guys. Bar tabs on me, dancing, love you guys. You get the full experience. So it's your loss if you don't invite us. But that's just true. Know you don't have to.
Yeah.
I'm not begging people to be on fucking wedding lists. I just tell people, listen, it's an all-intensive thing. Do what you want to do. Do what's best for you and your spouse.
I agree. Me and Lauren, we really like going to weddings because we like dancing a lot. And we're pretty much like the first and last ones on the dance floor like the whole time. So that's kind of like our main reason. But like as far as like we threw a wedding and we're like the pressure of like inviting people and stuff, and then you're like, all right, I just kind of like, I don't want to do any obligatory invites here. I just want like the people I like want there to be there. And then you're like, you throw it all, and then you're like, oh, I know how that feels when people are like, and then I'm like, am I the obligatory invite? Like, fuck, please don't. I was like, please don't invite me if it's stressful. If you're like, I can't afford this, and I don't know if he's gonna be mad. I'll never be mad if I didn't get invited.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like, I'm always just honored if I'm invited. I'll be like, oh yeah, I'll fucking try to make it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I didn't know that you guys were the dancing type. Now I saw.
Love it.
Okay, I saw a very cute photo of you and the wife dancing in one of your photos, and I go, oh, they got good photos because you got the nice little like, oh, you guys are dancing together, man. But then you also got one where I was like, oh, they know how to shoot guys, because most wedding photographers, my wedding photographer was great.
Yeah.
Former student of mine when I was teaching speech. Oh shit, I gotta call Milt.
What's that?
That's the fucking alarm.
Oh.
Hold on. So, my friends, this may actually go off, and I apologize if it does go off, but this is how you can tell things are live. Hey, brother, your alarm's about to go off, and we're still watching fights here.
Okay, no worries. I'll turn it off right now.
Thank you, brother. Love you.
Lauren texted me. She said, Raph's wife and me are going to start that.
Listen.
I have bitchy commentary for days.
Oh, Lauren, you're going to get along with my wife so well. She fucking suffers through this, and she has opinions. So I'm just saying, That's amazing.
Lauren will comment on how great Megan O'Leary looks the entire night.
And as she should.
As she should.
Megan O'Leary's a boss.
She is one of the stars of any pay-per-view out there.
All right, we're about to go to this next fight. I love that we actually had to take a moment to turn off the alarm and call the fucking gym owner to be like, oh shit. We're gonna exchange cups here. So this goes to you. Did you mix yours up, or do you like the? You don't have to spend too much time.
There isn't much.
Okay, this is. I got way more intensive than I thought it was going to get. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go first. Okay.
Send it.
Because you haven't got the chance to ask me a question. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that we are queued up on the fights. So we're here, and let me go ahead and pull this question right now. And as I get that all set up, it may have just reset. Uh-oh. Oh, fuck. Don't look. Don't look, you dick. Oh, no. Okay, we may have seen something that we didn't need to see.
Well, it's okay. You know, honestly, I never care about, like, knowing the result because I want to watch the fight in general.
You know what? You're a grown adult.
Yeah.
This is how I can tell we're very similar because it's like when people read spoilers for movies, I go, okay, you know the end of Star Wars. It's a Star Wars. Go watch it.
Yeah.
Or don't. Like, make a choice.
I want to see what happens.
Yeah, because I always tell people, I'm like, good writing will always be good writing. So a good fight will always be a good fight. So Terrence Mitchell, that was the last
that was the one with
fight.
Raul.
So I'm going to go ahead and pull this back up.
Is it Raul or Raul?
I believe he's Raul. I might have called him Raul.
I think you did call him.
Did I? Okay, my apologies. And if I did...
You don't have to be sorry to me.
Oh, no, I mean, hey, listen, I'm apologizing to the world. But I think it's because it's like when my wife will catch me every once in a while when we say Better Call Saul.
Yes.
Because sometimes I just say Better Call Sal because I'm like, oh, my lazy fucking speech.
Sal.
Do you call
Sal? Saul.
But S-A-U-L.
Yeah, it would be Saul, right?
So
they have Paul and Saul.
You get what I'm saying, which I'm like, ah, shit. So that's why I tell people all the time, I'm like, dude, I'm like Ron Burgundy, man. Whatever I see on the teleprompter is what I'm reading. So when I was asking you, I was like, how do you say your name? You're like, Winther. I was like, easy, done. All right. First question right now on the timestamp. It is 4:43:07. We're going to press play in just a second. But the first question is, what conspiracy theory are you most likely to believe? This is fucking great.
This is probably my best question I had. I'm kind of pissed that you picked it first.
Wow. Okay, that's great. Okay. I don't love conspiracy theories, but I love the fact that you're asking me this because
there's always at least one.
I'm sure
like,
everybody falls for one. Okay. Okay. Let's throw out a couple real quick. I believe Michelle Obama is a woman. All right, let's go with that one. Don't think it's that one. God, all people ever want is to be like, COVID came not from a bat, but from a fucking Chinese. All right, yeah. I'm not doing that either. I'm trying to think of the one that fucking rocked me to my core. I feel like all of the ones that you really always ascribe to are when you're younger. So as I got older, I didn't believe in these things. But there's two. I'll give you two for this one. The first one was that Marilyn Manson was actually Paul from the Wonder Years. So when we were kids, we all just collectively believed that Marilyn Manson was the same guy from the original OG 1987 Wonder Years. And we're like, yeah, that's who he grew into. And everybody was like, yeah, there's no internet to disprove it. We're just like, yeah, it sounds good to me.
That's just what it was.
That's what we're going to believe. There's a second one that was like, this is pro wrestling, so sorry. This is what it is. But when I grew up, people thought they're like, oh, the Ultimate Warrior isn't who the Ultimate Warrior is. I was like, what do you mean? Like, he looks smaller. I'm like, you're right, he does. That's a different guy. They replaced him. What? No, it is him. No, it isn't. I don't know. And it was because he got off roids for a little bit. And so he was off cycle. And I go, no, but he's smaller. This dude is different. Face paint. And shit. So I want to say I don't think anything has been more detrimental to me than those two conspiracy theories. Because everything else is like, no.
Like,
and then even when people are like shooting conspiracy theories, I'm like, the fuck are you guys so bored to come up with this shit?
People think that the government is way way smarter than they are.
They're so dumb. And God bless for this question. This is gonna go in the Hall of Fame. Well
That
done.
was definitely my best
Hey,
question.
listen.
So.
You know what? It can only go here.
So
now that you've given me that, why don't you answer a question and then we'll put on the fight.
Awesome. All right. What is your most guilty pleasure? Is it music?
Music selection or song?
Music selection or song? Ooh, guilty pleasure. All right. I'm a big I like modern hip hop, like Kendrick Lamar and stuff, that like that, and house music. So it's sometimes they can be intertwined and sometimes they can't be. So I would say, like, as far as like genre, like it's a toss up between those two. But I'm thinking guilty pleasure with my song. Thoughts from a Balcony, Mac Miller.
That's not a guilty pleasure, though. I can't accept that. Okay.
Is that wait? So does guilty pleasure kind of mean like I'm slightly embarrassed that I like this song? Okay, then yeah, I'm definitely not embarrassed. I like that song.
Because here's what I want the question to pull out of you. I want, if this played on my Spotify right now, I would be like, yeah, totally, and 100% skip it without bringing any attention to it. But I go, we're not going to talk about this song. We're not going to talk about this one. So it could be a Katy Perry. It could be a Dua Lipa. It could be even as versed as, oh, you know what? I actually like Snow from Informer from 1993.
I got one for it. It's,
okay.
Party in the USA by Miley Cyrus.
You know, this is barely a fucking answer that I accept. But why Miley Cyrus's Party in the USA?
Dude, when I was younger, I was in like 7th grade, I think, when this fucking song came out. And dude, I thought I was so cool because I knew all the fucking words to that song.
I have to tell you,
that was a good one.
What is your favorite lyric from that song then? If you know it and you know the words.
Oh my God. I'm trying to think of, I wish I knew the lyrics now.
But you didn't.
But like I could do like the whole fucking song. Like,
okay.
Fucking, like, got my hands up.
Because I think
that's probably like the chorus is probably my favorite part of it. But like I did know, like at a time I knew all the words and I could like do the hand gestures and shit that fucking went on.
Good for you, sir. Because to me, I'm older than you, so when I grew up and I heard that song, I go, this is kind of weird. And then like a little bit later, I was like, I see the appeal. Then a little bit later, it was like, and a Britney song is on. Yeah. And then I go, yeah, it's a fucking catchy lyric. And I think about it, I go, all she's saying is I'm listening to another song. Yeah. And yet I'm like, yeah, that's right. You should listen to that song. Like, good for you.
That's awesome. But like, if you say like, it's pretty funny, like when everyone like knows the song and you're like, I guess it's not so gay anymore.
but it's the Americana-ness of it that you go, yeah, that's a classic. So I'm going to barely let you get by on that one because it's just enough that I think it qualifies because you go, hey, Raph, yeah, I know all the lyrics. If you play it, it'll catch up with me.
What's the name of that song that's like, oh my God, what the fuck is the lyrics? He's like, but words won't bring me down. I think it's like a TLC song or some shit.
Words won't bring me down, but words won't bring me down. So
oh my God.
You're saying TLC. So now
what's the fuck in the song? Lauren, if you know the song, please let me know.
Lauren, I like the idea that you've got a Jarvis out there. You're like, Jarvis, need lyrics.
Lay it on me.
Words won't let me down.
Words.
All right, just so you guys.
Bring me down.
Words won't bring me. Yeah, this is gonna bug me too because I'm a big pop culture junkie. So this is gonna fucking bug me.
Is it? Oh yeah, "Beautiful" by Christina Aguilera. It's out of fucking what Mean Girls. The guy for the prom show. He sings.
Yes, he does. Holy shit!
Words won't bring me down. And then he's like points at the camera and shit.
God bless you. You're fucking crushing this game so far. Honestly, I've had a lot of people play this in different ways. All right, we're now on to the Holland fight, and this is round number 1, 4:58 on the clock. Della, Maddalena, I want to ask you, why were you excited about this fight? Because when we texted, you said this is the fight you're most excited
about. I'm super stoked about this fight. Kevin Holland is probably the most active fighter on the UFC roster, and he fights welterweight. He fights middleweight. It's impressive to see him. I think he's made a home here at welterweight, though, being a ranked fighter. That fight with Stephen Thompson was sick. He lost and got beat up there, but he just tried to strike with Stephen Thompson, and that's just a hard thing to do. And then you got Jack Della Maddalena, who is just, dude, he's looked fabulous in all of his UFC appearances. Like, he is the full package.
My favorite thing about him is he looks like somebody that you go, oh, no, that dude has to fight. Like,
yes.
Look at this dude. There's no other career path for him.
Yeah, you're like, he looks like a fighter.
Yeah. And meanwhile, I want to pay respect is Holland actually had a really good question mark kick right there for a split second. I was like, holy fuck, man.
Holland's like, his striking is just very unorthodox. And he uses his length really, really well. And I think this is where it kind of got him into trouble with Stephen Thompson.
Yep.
Is because Stephen Thompson is probably the best in this division at that game of like karate style fighting, and that's how they fight. If he had really taken a wrestling approach, I think he would have beaten Thompson. But he's more of a guy that's there. He's there to just give you a good fight.
Yeah, and I mean, he was an MVP during this COVID era.
Oh,
he just kept showing up. So I'm never going to have too much bad to say for him as a fighter because I go, damn, dude, you showed up for us at a time where we weren't promised great fights always.
I mean, hell, that's why Dana White really likes him because Dana White didn't even give him a contract off the contender suit because he didn't like him talking so much.
And even then, I still feel like it's such a weird story to be like, this dude was talking in the middle of some fights, and I thought to myself, I don't like this guy. And I go, I thought that's the guy you'd like the most.
I thought most people would think. You're like, oh, you like the guy that talks shit the whole time.
Maybe he didn't win to your fancy, but like, that seems to be up your wheelhouse, Mr. White.
Yeah.
So yeah, especially when he's like, yeah, I don't know about this guy. Oh no, he's great. Yeah, that one guy, that was Kevin Holland. So, I just want to say he's fucking great. And you go, sure. Now Dana loves him.
Yeah, now he's okay with it. And dude, Kevin Holland just is not afraid to fight people. And that knockout he had on Jacare Souza, dude, talk about the fucking, that is the most, he literally hit it bottom side guard.
Yeah.
He knocks him out pretty much in the guard. And then, dude, the way he finished it, I felt bad for Jacare.
Oh, we all did, man.
You're just like, but I'm like, his stock goes up there. And you're like, dude, to be a kind of like a goofier talking person through fights, and then just to be a savage like that and fucking end someone that way, that you got my respect right there. That is impressive.
I have the talking shit part down pretty well.
Yeah.
Like, I can do that and pass guard better than I would without it. And even when we were going, I was like, hey, man, you're not going to get this. And you'd be like, fuck. And the worst part is, it's only because my defense is decent that you were like, this is really annoying.
Yeah,
like
okay. If I try to stick to this one thing, it's
just not going to happen. Because he literally just tricked me into being like, well, I guess I should take this back. I hate Raph. God damn it.
You're like, fuck this.
But having said that, I think it's such a hard task to do in that cage, because it's one thing to talk trash, which sure, but I've always thought that Holland produces, and I know we were talking about how you were excited about it for these two gentlemen, but I thought it was going to be a great opportunity for Jack himself, because dude, Jack's a fucking unit unto himself, man.
Yeah.
And so far, so good. He's not backing down. He is trying to walk down Holland in this fight.
I like it. I actually think Holland's doing a good job fighting off the back foot right here.
Mm-hmm.
He's landing a shit ton of low kicks. I think that's a on a guy that's gonna stalk you the whole time, you need to land those low kicks.
Yep.
And I think you see Jack starting to make the read right now. He's gonna start checking a little bit more, but he's landed, according to the numbers, just more head strikes.
So far, so good for him.
Yeah, this is a very close round. I think the judges are probably gonna give it to Holland. I think he's just beat up that front leg enough. That's your Volkanovski tactic right there. If it's a close round, they're going to be like,
oh, God.
"You landed a shit ton
Dude,
of leg
Jack
kicks."
literally walked off right there like, I did that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't hate it. I'm going to get my second question right now. And this is, what is your favorite interview and why? It can't be me. Well, yes, I'm glad you put that because it couldn't be you. That would be favoritism. Interviews are like children. You should never pick your favorite, but I do have people who are my favorites. So obviously we are tied to Gary Tonin. He was one of our very first interviews. He's always made time for us. And I like to say he's kind of like my little brother.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like he's my little twerp brother that will say and do dumb shit, but I'm like, damn, he's really fucking good at jiu-jitsu. What do you do? But I want to say like one of the first ones that like hit off with me and Gary, and it let me know there was a space in the community for the type of shit that I do, was I had done a drunk history version of recreating Metamoris matches. So we used to do that back in the day. Damn. And we did, but we didn't get drunk to tell the stories. We just took somebody's narrative of what happened and then acted it out. And I did one with Gary versus Kit Dale. And Gary didn't respond to one of my first, like, hey, come do an interview. And then he saw that and he goes, this is fucking hilarious. And I go, yeah, dude, I've been hilarious this whole time. And you chose not to do an interview with me. He's like, no, set it up. Set it up. Let's do it. And when we did this interview in person, I said, hey, man, I know you like to have really shitty diet things that you like to play about. Why don't we do one where I just start eating a cheeseburger and you eat a cheeseburger with me? And he's like, dude, that's so dumb. Let's fucking do it. And I just said, okay, if I can get somebody like him to rock with me for the stupidest idea I have, I think there's going to be a space for me to have fun with the athletes and do different types of interviews. So I really think it does stem back to that.
So kind of like bridged, I guess, how this whole interview kind of goes.
Yes.
Dude, that's super
where
cool
it's not like, it's not unserious. Like there's definitely like a seriousness to the silliness. So we take the approach to MMA seriously, but we don't take ourselves seriously. So I think that's the split we try to have.
And I think that's what makes the interviews fun, but like worth watching. Cause like I was kind of thinking about like this today. I was like, if you have someone that just like the whole interview is just about them roasting you the whole time, they're funny for like, you can only do that for so long.
No.
Cause like then you only get so much content out of it. Whereas like if you take little jabs here and there and fucking laugh it off, and then like you have some serious parts, and then like you're actually making headway. You're like, yeah, they actually did make a good point about this fight, or they made a good point about grappling.
And that's why when we do these things, there is a level of I understand the fights and I understand the approach. So right now, 306 in the second round of Holland and Della. How do you say his name?
Maddalena.
No, I call him Maddalena. Man, look at that. I say it American. You say it in whatever he wants to be called. No, but Jack, super good at this fight. And again, we take the approach of dissecting their technique seriously. But you could say things about like, okay, great. Look at Holland's tattoo. You can do a joke on that.
Yeah.
And sometimes you try to balance between the two because at a certain point, what makes you different than the other 20 different interview or fight companion series?
Yeah.
And I think the hard part is everybody assumes they are a UFC analyst. And when we do these, I go, dude, these are a breeze because I can drink. When I do play-by-play on actual broadcast, don't drink, don't do any of that. I have notes. That's what I do. But when I do these, it's kind of like, all right, let's have fun and be a breeze.
Yeah.
It's a very different approach. So I have two different speeds that I like to operate on. But yeah, that's always been my MO, which is take the craft seriously, take yourself unseriously.
And that's honestly, that's what most people need to do. Like, I think that's
the
like
hope.
Yeah, because like, when you take yourself so seriously, you end up just not. You make it seem anytime you fall short of like perfect.
Yep.
Then you're like, oh, then you just let it get to you. I feel like. Whereas like if you're like a little unserious, you're fucking human. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. So, all right, 126 left in this fight. What have you been seeing thus far that you have liked? Do you have a swing on how you see this fight going right now?
Dude, I really, it's so fucking close, man. That first round, I think on the Twitter scorecards, you had a lot of people 10-9. It was a slight edge, 10-9.
Hold on. What are you talking about? Twitter scorecards?
They had put them in.
Oh, okay. I was like, when did you look at that?
No.
I was like, I thought you were just talking to the lady. If you were talking about that, I was about to be like, we have words. So.
Yeah, no. The bottom left, I think a lot of some people had a slight lean towards Jack.
Okay.
But that was a good fucking sprawl from Jack.
Yeah.
I think this second round, man, again, dude, I think this is super, super close. I think you're getting that slight lean again. The significant strikes are favoring Jack as well. But dude, this is just the output here between these two guys with striking is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I think this has actually been a really, really good match so far. And Jack, at this juncture, with 26 seconds left in the second round, was actually the favorite.
Yeah, I think he's probably, it's close, man. And you never know what those judges are scoring. Mm-hmm. But I think most people's scorecards are probably going to see this.
And you know it's weird. I know it's the end of that last round, but some of that combination that Holland just threw, it was that tired man. Like, I'm just trying to score points, man. Yeah. I'm not even really putting any emphasis on this.
I feel like he's kind of is how his style is sometimes. Like,
I think you're right.
He kind of throws punches like that, and it's so hard to tell if he's just tired or if he's just kind of like range finding.
But I think not only the range finding, but fucking with you.
Yes.
To be like, hey, here's this. I have no emphasis, and then he hits you with some shit that you're like, oh shit, were you setting me up this whole time, you dick?
Yeah, because there's like a thing where it's like with striking, it's like a timing piece of like, okay, like how fast do I throw it, but also how like hard do I throw things. Like if I throw a thing soft and then I throw it fucking hard, like that messes up your timing a little bit, and you're like, fuck, that hurt.
Yeah. All right, sir, you take your second question right now. Hopefully you have not a least embarrassing moment that you can bypass here.
If you had the chance to be any character in a movie, who would you be? Who would I? If I didn't say that loud enough. If you had a chance to be any character in a movie, who would you be? I'd be Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore.
Fucking love that.
Okay,
movie.
I love that movie too. Absolutely, but why Happy Gilmore?
That man tried to make it in I love hockey, by the way. That man tried to make it in hockey and was just he had such a killer shot, but couldn't fucking skate, and then just didn't give a shit about golf. I was like, I just need to make fucking money, and just murders everyone in golf. And then you're like, how do you not like that guy? And he's funny as fuck the whole time. He got the shit beat out of him by Bob Barker too. So anyone that can just fucking roll with Bob Barker, that's a fucking story right there.
Fun story. Just went to the Price is Right this week.
Oh shit!
I had fun.
Did you really?
Yeah, I couldn't get picked because I work in game shows. So they have a certain statute of limitations or whatever, some kind of block that you can't get picked. And I just completed work on a show that distributes by the same company, not even produced, not any of that shit. Like the smallest of technicalities. And I go, it's all right. And I was there for a homie. And it was fun, man. I was doing recon, but you know what I realized when I went to the Price is Right? I was like, I don't know how much shit costs anymore. Like, I used to be when I was 7, so good at this game. Now I'm like, wait, that rice was $2.49? Where the fuck are you guys buying this from? So I had told friends.
$2.49 for rice?
$2.49 for this like, box of rice. And I go, oh, shit. But when people were yelling it out, I was doing this where I was like, $2.49. And bro, the worst, I have to take this out just so you can get the full experience of what I'm talking about here. I actually was around 2 people who got called to come on down. And the first was this woman, and this will forever be ingrained in my brain. Same row, we're on the aisle. and this woman's 2 seats away from me, and they say, "Oh yeah, come on down," and she goes like this, and gets up, and then finds me, so you're me, 2 seats away, and goes, and I go, "Hey, congrats!" And I go down, and she's like, and she's like screaming at me, and I go, "I don't know what to do." So I'm pretty sure when this airs in a month, I'm gonna be like, "I'm so scared of you," because all I could do was just think to myself, like, don't fuck this up. Now you know you're on TV, and this woman's just like, "I'm having a manic episode," and I go, "Yep."
He's like, "Go, want me to throw you?"
And again, because the producer in me is like, "Get down there." It's just seeing someone's brain melt and going, "This is an awesome moment." And I had somebody behind us who also got called, but it was amazingly
awesome.
I legit I cried laughing so hard from it. It was amazing. All right, 155 left to go here. Do you have a favorite in this fight thus far in, sir? Because I know you came in as a Holland fan, but Jack has been fucking putting out tonight, man.
Honestly, I came in. I like both of these fighters a lot. Like, I like Jack and I like Holland. I think this was. I was so excited for this fight because I like both of them, and I thought this was going to be a good fucking fight, and it is. This is like living up to the thing, to kind of my expectations here. But I am actually surprised of like just. I guess we did see like a little bit of grappling, like Holland went to go shoot
the
on him.
sprawls. The sprawls were really fucking good, and I got to be honest, like, those are hard to make happen.
Yeah.
When they look effortless, just remember they're not.
No, they're not. Like, there's so much to do. Their body position when they're like throwing their hands are pretty fucking good. This is such a back and forth fight, man. Like, I think this is just technically a very good fight, and I think a lot of people won't appreciate this fight for what it really is. Like, this is amazing.
I think they match them up very well.
Yeah.
And it might be a sneaker fight. And it's part of the reason why when you said you were so excited for it, I was like, dude, it ended up being a pretty good fucking fight.
Yeah.
With 30 seconds left to go.
Like, I don't know who wins this fight, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's very fucking close. And here's the nice part. You have to figure that with all the intention that Holland's gotten.
Damn.
I don't know. I mean, Jack's making a statement toward the end
Yeah, I
of
was
this
gonna
third
say,
round
like, that's the kind of stuff in a close round you need to come in with some hard punches, and I think like,
ooh, that elbow's so sick. Yo, and you know what, dude? Okay, if anybody ever after a round is jumping afterwards when the fight or the round is over, I'm always like, yeah, that had to be pretty good.
Yeah. You know, I don't know. I can't remember if we did this in the interview or for this one, but like the whole, like, not being attached to the result and stuff. I think Kevin Holland lives that life really fucking well.
Good call.
Because he's there because he fucking loves fighting, and he is just happy. He's happy to be able to fight at this level.
You're right, because did you see the clip of him being asked about fighting for the title?
No.
So there's a journalist this week who said, hey, why aren't you worried about fighting for the title? And he's like, why are you worried about it? And he's like, well, I'm just saying because you get paid more. And he's like, how do you know I don't get pay-per-view points? And this dude's like, I don't. And he goes, I'm perfectly happy about fighting where I am. It sounds like you're more interested about me fighting for the title. And he goes, I'm just trying to say it. He goes, no, I'm happy where I am. Like, I'm good. Don't worry about me, brother. Like, I'm happy.
Yeah.
He goes, see, and then all of a
That's
sudden
awesome.
it becomes like, you know, from the fighter standpoint, it's you looking at it and being like, yeah, that's how I'd answer it too, probably. From my standpoint, I go, who the fuck is asking this? Like,
Yeah, like they're like now they like double down on their question
because you think about it and you go, well, if the dude says I'm not concerned about it, drop it.
Yeah.
Like, move on. If you get a second question, if you don't, it's a mulligan. You live to ask a question another day.
Yeah, and I kind of like that because I think Holland's point of view is like he's a ranked fighter right now. That title is going to come within the next 3 to 4 fights, but he's got to focus on the one ahead of him right now. Let's see what the scorecards are.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. Mike Bell scored the contest
Split decision.
Ooh.
I think it's gonna go Jack.
Well done, dude.
Such a close
And you know what?
fight.
Holland has that kind of like, fuck this attitude. But if he goes back and watches this, I think he's going to kind of maybe see that it was closer than advertised.
Yeah. I think that, you know, I think, and you know, I don't really know. It's just so hard to say, like, the feelings you're going to feel in there. Like, he may not, like, say, like, yeah, I'm here to fight for a championship, but, like, he wants to be the champ one day. Absolutely.
And there's a pathway for it now. Like,
Yeah,
it's all
exactly.
so fucking absurd.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, to have a good fight like that, close fight like that, like, I mean, you just got to be pissed because you're like, dude, it is so close. Like, the decisions, to lose a decision that's on a close fight is just, it really sucks.
Yeah.
It really fucking sucks.
All right. So DC is going to have Jack look at his work. While he does that, I'm going to go ahead and look at my next question.
Let's check it out.
All right, here we go. Now, you said that the first one was where we peaked, which, by the way, is not great television. But for the purpose of our thing, I'm going to jazz this up a little bit. What is your dream job, if not already doing it? So let's do this. Let's listen to what he has to say. He says he's down for whatever. So Jack gets the nice handshake from DC. All right. What's my dream job? I'm doing it here, but I would love to do it on ESPN. And it is, I won't rest until I get a show that allows us to talk about grappling for 30 minutes on ESPN. Because it bugs me that we spend months, not days, months, talking about what Tom Brady's going to do for a Super Bowl that doesn't happen until January. And yet we can't spend one day saying, what's Buchecha up to?
Yeah.
Because to me, I don't see somebody fighting for that yet. So every small victory I get in this realm is always with the intention of get your bad shit out now so that one day you can maybe help. If not, I'm the guy. Then maybe somebody has part of that foundation from me and from many others that gets on there so we can get grappling on a Sports Center like show where we show dope as fuck highlights, because I argue many of our athletes are killing themselves in ways that don't get the recognition that maybe other sports don't kill themselves in.
Yeah. How do you see the path, I guess, to get to like something like that?
Numbers.
Yeah.
And I think in time, perhaps about a year to 5 years.
Yeah.
There's going to be a big push. And I think the writer's strike is actually very, very important to watch right now because I've worked on talk shows. I've worked for the Tonight Show for both Conan and Jay. That format is in danger.
Really?
Yeah. I think because of the writer's strike, I think there's a real possibility that that's one of the things that gets heavily impacted by how this shakes out. That's why, Drew Barrymore, I don't know if you caught this, but she caught some flack for a statement where she's like, hey, we're going to come back this week and I own this decision. And people were like, fuck you. You have a show with writers and you're coming back, you're a scab. If she had literally said, if I don't come back, maybe talk shows don't exist, it might be a different conversation. But she was trying to do it, and maybe she didn't have people who are press savvy helping her on that one.
Yeah.
It's hard because I don't hate Drew Barrymore, but I also don't love scabs. So as somebody who's not in the union for writing, you do recognize like there is a reason why they're trying to do this, which is how are all these streaming giants saying the last writer strike, we didn't know what streaming was going to do, but we did give you some points. But now that streaming is a thing that's more important than live tune in, and it's a big billion-dollar business.
What really
how does that
is
work?
The writer's strike? I'm not well versed on it at
Oh
all.
boy, how much time do I have? Okay, here's what I'm going to tell you. Here's what it boils down to. A lot of things are fighting for rights, which that means it's a rights distribution of, okay, the writer strike is trying to get, hey, AI may take your words and make a new script. Do you get paid for that?
Oh, shit.
For actors, what if we take your likeness and take that and then try to replicate that? Maybe you're a background actor in a different film. Should you get paid for that? So that's one part of it. There's other parts that say, okay, great. Before we used to give ratings as a barometer of maybe we should pay Jennifer Aniston more money. But now streaming giants only say this did 400% better than the last time we aired this episode. So Squid Game changed the game by 4 million %. And you go, okay, cool. How many people watched? And they're like, a lot of people. And they go, well, how do I know I'm going to get more money if I don't know what the actual figures are?
Yeah.
And they go, I don't know, it's kind of hard. Streaming's crazy. And you go, okay, you're right. Maybe streaming is crazy. And then you'll see Netflix post a record gain of like $4 billion or whatever it is. And you go, huh? Your CEO just put this much money in their bank. If your CEO put a fraction of what their bonus was, that would end the strike.
Yeah.
But people don't want to give up their money. So, and I'm sure some rich person could say I'm simplifying it, but that is essentially the simplest version of it. There's many more complex things at play.
Yeah.
But if you have like, the best part about being an athlete is you go scoreboard. The problem is in fight game, sometimes you get decision scoreboard where you go, this guy saw it this way and this guy saw it this way.
Fucking split decision. I thought if I fucking had one other guy, I thought it was my way.
And it's tough. This is one of those areas where it's a little bit more nebulous. So all I can say is I hope people get paid adequately so that they can make a living. I don't know that all these things are extreme, but it is more complex than people would advertise. So that's why for me, a byproduct of that is, sure, maybe talk shows go away. But you know what gets more money consistently? Sports, because of the live tune-in factor.
Always, yeah.
And as a result of that, the NFL is probably going to get a renewed deal pretty soon. WWE is going to get a renewed deal because they get a consistent number. And if you are consistent with your number, then you're great. We may not have the numbers that those things get in grappling, but we have the live tune-in, and we have the ability to be live. We could grow, but you need the right people to tell stories. You need a whole infrastructure. We don't have that yet, but we're live and we're cheap. And that to me says in time, somebody could abuse that and make that work.
Worldwide too.
Absolutely.
And I think that's like that's a factor I feel like not a lot of people take into account. Like, well, we just had Europe, Middle East, and African trials all happen. Like, that's a major market that if you were like ESPN or one of these major sporting giants, like you could really crush it.
But you're missing the biggest component, which is your kids can do grappling. Your mom can do grappling. Your family can do grappling. How are we not taking advantage of this? Because not everybody can play football. And yet it's the biggest sport. So how do you not have the stories available that other sports are like, well, they're super mega stars and they're just who they are. But it's like, you see how hard this is.
Yeah.
It's not easy. So why can't we do it? People don't know how to tell those stories yet. And we're just in our infancy. So I'd like to say my contribution is, if I'm not the host, I'd like to be one of the people behind the scenes helping to make that happen. And there's a lot of stuff I do in front of the camera in jiu-jitsu, and there's a lot of stuff I do behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. So I just, the nice part of this is nobody is my boss.
Yeah.
I do what I want to do. I like it. But I feel like for the growth of the sport, I would love to be the host of a show that says, yo, did you guys see this on ADCC Europe? Like, you guys need to see what happened this weekend. Let's look at this clip. All right, great. I just did a 5-minute interview with Bobby Winther after his latest ADCC win. We're going to go to that right now. But what I want to tell you is this. Look to see what his keys to winning were. And then people see that and they kind of go, oh, okay, cool. Then you mix it with the story. Bobby was actually, he was dyslexic before this fight. But after this fight, he can read at a high level. His now entrance into Mensa is a true story. Like
The power of jiu-jitsu.
the power of jiu-jitsu is crazy. Like whatever nonsense it is, you just have to tell the right stories that tell a person how they overcome the obstacles, but they don't always have to be the shit talking thing. And that's where people get hung up, and that's maybe why we're not as big as we are.
I agree. I think that's actually that's a fucking good point. And I feel like not a lot of people think about it like that. And that's why I can appreciate you doing the shows that you're doing right here, because I mean, any of us grapplers, like any of us fighters just want to start out. And like I think the UFC is kind of like about 7 years ahead of where grappling is right now.
Absolutely.
And they always have been like pushing it. And I think all of us want to be, we do this because we want to be on TV.
Yeah.
We want to do it because we want to be on TV. We want to be known for being good at the thing we do by a lot of people in the world. Whether grapplers or fighters know that that's what they want or not. That's, if you're competing, generally that's how you want to solidify yourself as the best in that. So when we have like a platform to do it, like doing shows like this is perfect for us. And like this is like you said, the groundwork, like a year out, 5 years out of like, all right, hey, we need to start making good stories. Athletes need to be better with the media. They need to be trained almost on how to do media, so that way you can build a story. And I do think, as far as like a grappling sense, I think the tournament does it well is ADCC. I think they have they're on the right track of like solidifying themselves as like the UFC of grappling. So you're like, okay, now like lay people can be like, yeah, I don't know all this jiu-jitsu shit, but wrestling I've done, so that looks kind of fucking cool.
Yeah.
Or judo looks sick, and now I can look at that. So now there's like a league, as you will. Now we just need the media to kind of just keep with it.
And it's hard because they're not quite taking advantage of the stories. So like Flow, there are some things that they do right, but it's hard to tell 120 stories for a division.
It's insane.
So you pick your ponies and you go with those things. The problem is it becomes a little monotonous where I can't tell how this person stands out from this person. And you appreciate the efforts and you're like, yo, I'm on the same team. We're also at a phase where most people take any form of constructive criticism as hate. And I'm like, no, I'm on your side.
Yeah.
And until people can get into that space of, no, hear what I'm saying. You don't have to like me, but maybe understand there's insight, not just from me, but from many voices who view these things and say like, hey man, this is what would get you on TV. And this might be the thing. And these are your people. So I'll tell you one thing right now, and it's not even a cheat code, but it's look at the Rotolos. Those are your stars. And the fact that one gobbled them up is genius. And to me, taking that away, because one is more of an international company, it's like, damn, dude, a national like US company should be taking advantage of those kids and like putting them on almost a monthly, bi-monthly, whatever you want to get, but like a special occasion basis, because when they compete, it's an event and they're being smart about what they choose now. So to me, all of those factors and more is like you have components, but you haven't cracked the code. And I'm not saying I've cracked it, but I think you want as many media savvy people as possible to do their things.
And I think currently we have a lot of people working against each other.
Yes.
Like in jiu-jitsu. Like,
Yes.
and like we were talking about before, it's like a lot of people want to be like the one that breaks through here. And I think grappling doesn't know how MMA did it for some reason, and they think that MMA just did it on its own. Like MMA had backing, aggressive people with money.
Yep.
Jiu-jitsu currently doesn't have that, so you need a lot of people that are going to work together and like try to make this a thing.
Yeah.
And just being smart, like you said, like there's I think ADCC is a good tournament style to kind of follow through, but like you need something that does the matchups. Like one does a great job of that. They, like you said, they like, hey, who are the Rotulos? Oh, they're the best, like probably best young American talent out there. Cool, let's buy them.
But think about it. They are a long-term investment.
Oh yeah.
because they're so young, they can be here for years. And it's genius. The problem and good thing. The problem is it's not necessarily a U.S. audience. They're starting to build it, but the good news is, pro-con, they're now on Amazon. So they're putting in that footwork to be like, hey, get used to seeing this on Amazon.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't get as many viewers yet, but you're probably going to tune into Amazon because you're tuning into football
Yeah.
more in the future than you will other things.
One actually had a card in Colorado back in
They
April.
did.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Which is like, that was the first time they came to the States. And
Yep.
I was like, holy shit. Like, that's all the lower level MMA people and all the lower level, like, not even lower level jiu-jitsu, higher level jiu-jitsu. Everyone in this area is like, you're going to come here?
And even Gary Toning couldn't get on that card. He was like, get me on this card. And I'm like, we can only do so much.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, like, that's about as Americana as it gets. Like, put that dude on the card. If you can't utilize that dude, then, oh, shit, you have something different in mind.
Yeah. Like,
So that's why, to me, I'm like, it's going to take some time. It's going to take some brains. And I think people need to just be open to working together, collaborating, and changing it up. Don't do the same formula that works for the UFC. We're not the UFC. And the minute you accept that, you probably are going to be more successful.
dude, I agree. And also, I feel like what did change, like, one of the turning points in the UFC was seeing USADA kind of come into the
Absolutely.
mix.
Yes.
And I think, like, whether people agree with, like, the whole steroid thing being a thing or not, like, the bulk of people will always think that you are cheating if you're using steroids.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to be like a legit contender with these other sports, you need to do the same testing criteria. And I think that just like kills the whole conversation of like, is he good because he's on steroids, or is he good because he's good?
Yeah.
And it's like, if you want to see a steroid league, go.
Yeah. Go do your thing.
Go do your
Yeah.
fucking thing.
Yeah.
But also, like, don't sit there and act like steroids don't make a benefit to the fucking thing like they do.
Listen, bro, the only reason you took my back is because the amount of steroids you're on. We all know that. I just want to be very clear about that. Why don't we do this? Why don't we go to your next question? And then just so people know, we're about to start this fight. It is at 5:21:20. It is Grasso and Shevchenko 2. And this is the final fight. So we will be doing a watch of it. Many of you know the result of it. Totally cool, but we'll get to it. All right, sir, what is the question for you?
All right. The most embarrassing competitive moment playing a game. It could be a board game, video game, etc. outside of BJJ/MMA. Ooh, damn. That's a good fucking question. You're going to have to make me dig in the archives for that one.
I'll give you some time to think of it. Why?
Actually,
You have it?
One. I got one.
Okay.
So this is when I was younger, and this is pretty embarrassing. I was playing hockey, and we used to play street hockey like
Okay.
all the time. So like rollerblades in the street with our street hockey stuff, and I'm trying to remember if it was me or if it was somebody else. But like they did like your classic, almost like slip on a banana peel with their roller skates,
Okay.
and then they like fell, and then they threw their stick up way high in the air, and then I was there. They either did it or I did it, and it came down and just destroyed my face.
No.
Yes. Like it was the most cartoon like thing that you could like can't make this shit up. Like it was like whoa, and I was like, whoa, doom. And I just got
Oh
domed.
no. So I'll say this. The reason why I'm saying this question is, and I pose this to many people, because to be a good athlete, you have to have some kind of competition in you. Now, where I have, we talked about this off air, where I have tried to find it is, I've always been the person that's like, oh, I just like, having fun and doing this. So finding that balance, because especially when I was young, I was taking sports too seriously because I didn't want to let people down, especially in a team setting.
Yeah.
So trying to find that like balance between have fun, but be serious has always been my downfall. you have had success as a competitor, and even rolling with you, you're like, no, he can be very competitive. I'm always curious if like you ever knocked over a Monopoly board game or you're like, fuck this, because
Fucking bullshit.
the way that you roll, I'm like, no, it's real. It's in there. That dude has to be that guy. It's just, I don't know if you invite everybody for a game night and your wife's like, you have to excuse Bobby. He gets really into his operation. He takes it very seriously.
We just been playing board games a lot actually, and we play this game. It's called Anomia.
Okay.
Pretty much it, like, I won't explain the whole game to you, but like you like flip a category down, and let's say like you have type of dog, and then I have like type of cat. If our categories match like the symbol, then we have to like guess a thing, and whoever's first gets the card, and like you win that round, and you keep going around. My tactic that I don't find embarrassing, but Lauren is embarrassed secondhand for me, is that I will like, because I can't think of it fast enough, so I just come aggressively and I go, and so I stifle them until I can think of the answer, and then I win and I get their card.
Okay, see, again, when I put a question like that down, I'm not wrong, but I love the fact that you were like, oh, one time I got hurt in hockey, and I go, I don't think that's bad. That's a normal occurrence. That just sucked, dude. But you're like, yeah, it really affected me. And I go, I don't think so, dude. But meanwhile, you're like, yo, there's a board game where if I can't win, I'm going to kind of cheat it out and game the system.
Yeah. Like, I'll like get caught. I'm like, fuck, I can't get these answers. Potato. Yes.
So what does your wife say when you're obviously cheating in this moment?
Well, I don't think we still haven't determined if it's cheating. I think it's a valid tactic.
Does she do it back to you?
No, because she's not aggressive as me.
Again, I want to point this out. I know when I asked this question to the people I asked this question to. Okay, great. All right, I'm going to press play again, just so you guys remember. 5/21/24. This is the first. Hold on. Why is her nose?
Why is her nose all sunburned?
Hold on. Let me make sure this has to be the first round, but
the
that is a
first round.
very like red Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer kind of red on her. Yeah, this is round one.
Holy
What
shit.
the fuck? How do you show up with that button of a nose that's red?
They're in Vegas right now, so she must not be used to the sun.
Yeah, maybe. Or did she go to the pool too often and they just didn't cover that part of her body and she just started getting it? All right, so do you remember watching the first fight with Shevchenko and Grasso?
Yeah, I thought, from what I remember Shevchenko, like, I couldn't believe that Grasso was standing and trading with her.
Mm-hmm.
I think Shevchenko is a far better striker, but I thought she was losing the striking battles. I thought she did really well in them. And then, I mean, when she capitalized on that spinning back kick, she just fucking took advantage. Like, she looked like a beast in that, which was super cool to see.
It was such a great moment, and it was so unexpected. It was definitely one of those great moments of the year.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh, I thought Shevchenko was just going to run this until she didn't. And then all of a sudden, all of us look like fools.
Yeah, and then you're like, dude, like you're like, who the fuck can beat this guy? Like,
yeah.
Dude, like, is there anyone? And like, what? I think Grasso was ranked number 5.
Yeah.
I remember like that first fight, I was like, oh, we're gonna go watch Shevchenko just beat the shit out of someone. Like,
yeah, it was definitely a bit of a shock, and I know people got into that phase of saying, oh, Sean definitely shocked me with Izzy, and that was shocking. I still felt like this was more shocking to me.
This was more shocking because I think this was the first of all those like, holy shit, these champs are touchable.
Oh shit, what the fuck are we gonna expect now? Like,
and dude, the whole murderers row.
I
Came
know.
out. I think after that happened, Usman was it Usman before or after that?
I think, yeah, great call. I don't remember the exact timing. I would have to look it up. But you could see the dominoes falling, and you go, I just didn't expect all these things to happen.
You're like, holy. And you know, here's the thing I find in MMA a lot. It's like once the change of belts happens, it happens like a few more times.
Yeah.
And then it just like another champ just kind of stays in and reigns.
All right. So in round one, both of them, I think the nice part about this is Valentina, when she was just shooting there, she hit into that high guard. So she didn't really connect per se on that last combination that she threw, but she's definitely putting some heat on some of these punches.
Oh, yeah. She's fighting behind that jab pretty well.
Mm.
And I think what Grasso did last time really well was fight behind her jab.
Yeah. Nice
which
elbow
made
there
her
by
very
Valentina,
hard.
by the way.
Yeah.
All right, so when we get to the end of this round, I'm going to take my next question, but I did love the approach by these ladies to come out like swinging because they said, all right, let's see if that last one was a fluke.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens here.
And, yeah, you got to feel for Grasso to be like, she won.
Yeah.
She won that thing. And for people to be like, just a lucky thing. You took advantage of it. And you're like, you don't know how fucking hard that is. Like,
Yeah.
For her, like, that's what makes her a champion is that she took advantage of that mistake.
That unbeatable person
Yeah.
finding a way to beat them
Yeah.
and then saying like, I don't know about that.
Yeah. People are like, yeah, let's run it back and see how you're doing. You're like,
But it's
well,
like it wasn't a decision.
yeah,
She
exactly. Finished her.
finished
You're
her.
like,
Like,
yeah.
what the fuck is there to discuss
Yeah,
about her
and-
not being that?
And to Shevchenko's thing, like you gotta have her run it back. She's been the champ for that long. Is it a fluke? Was it an off night for her? And you always hate being like as a champion, former champion herself, she would hate probably for anyone to say like
Yep.
she won by a fluke or anything.
Okay. So at this point, Shevchenko kind of, I want to see where the leg is, but heading toward mount, if not in it. Yeah, she has one leg in on the half guard of Grasso. So at this point, trying to rack up a few strikes here.
Full mount now.
Now into that full mount, trying to take the back from here, hitting a few strikes. Can't quite fully get necessarily a triangle, but definitely trying to hit this rear naked choke and being relentless.
Way
Both
to
of them.
back off of that. She realized she was about to get reverse and
Yeah.
not to end up on bottom. She lets go and gets
Mhm.
off that. That's
And Grasso being able to find her way back up.
Yeah,
God,
like,
God
that
damn,
is
man.
smart right there. I think Shevchenko probably rushed that position because she was probably excited to find a finish there.
Mm.
She should have probably arm chart quarterback.
Well, think about that. Yeah. No. Listen, we get that. Whenever
Yeah.
we're watching this, it's your initial reaction.
Yeah.
It's not your official statement. You didn't put out something and be like,
Yeah.
well, trash. What you're saying here is maybe Shevchenko saw that and said, maybe this is my chance to enact that revenge for
Yeah,
that same thing that you
for
did to me.
sure.
And she saw it and said, let me try it. Didn't work, but got right back up on it.
Yeah, I got Shevchenko 1-0 on that one though.
Sounds good. All right, let me see what this says. This says, what was your favorite combat sports event to cover? I've covered UFCs, and I have to say, this one's tough because doing it live, it left me scarred. But I was there for the Anderson Silva knee break, and I was there for the Anderson Silva knockout from Chris Weidman. And both of those things scarred me in ways that I can hear. It's like bamboo snapping. I hear Anderson's leg snap, and I just remember being in the arena and going like, because you didn't think that could happen
Not at all.
the first time. And it's because Anderson Silva was playing the Matrix, and like Weidman just came in and was like, USA, bam. And you go, oh, shit, okay. And it broke you a little bit because you go,
Yeah.
I couldn't see that happening. And then it did. And you go, okay, well, that's the reality of it. Then the knee snapping and you go, or the leg snapping, and you go, that just didn't feel right. Like something's not there. I love those two for specific reasons. I would say the other thing that I really love, give me a Glory. They are legitimately some of my favorite events to cover.
Glory.
Love Glory kickboxing. One of the
shit.
best events to cover live.
Why is that?
No bullshit. Again, they're fun, good action, high energy. I was there for when Joe Schilling won against Artem Levin, and they went into overtime, and it was one of the most dramatic things I've ever seen. But because you had the American versus the Russian, you got a Rocky vibe.
Rocky vibe.
And I
love
was
that,
like, yeah, let's fucking go. And I'm on press row, and I'm like, just don't say anything. Just go right back to it. So those are good. And then I think on the grappling side, I have to say, like, honestly, I may have to come back to this, but I used to have a good gig of going to cover the EBIs in combat jiu-jitsu, but the EBI era of the Gordon and Gary and Eddie Cummings, those things produced, like that put us on the map. And shit, Grasso just had a knockdown there to the point where Shevchenko had to do a back roll.
Damn.
That was impressive. I think they're going to have to show that in the next in between commercial break here. But that was impressive by Grasso. Talk about getting your fucking footing back in the second round, dude.
Real. That's a good way.
Ooh, and these knees to the midsection.
It looks like she's about to finish her right here.
Oh my God. She's trying to steal some lunch money here, sir.
Yeah, holy shit.
Good on her, man. Yeah, I mean, again, two sides of the story, though. Shevchenko doesn't look affected by it at all and returns with a great takedown here.
Yeah, like finds that takedown. She's just got to land some ground and pound and get this ground back.
The hard part is those were pretty impressive. And Grasso doing just enough to make it seem like she's being offensive, trying to look for a choke, which both of us know, not really here.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like, if I just try to make it seem like it, given what I did earlier, we're good. And this is mostly mitigating your ability to hit me and get in strikes, even if they're like the peppered kind. But hey, Shevchenko, even with her arm compromised and her head compromised, coming in with those like calisthenic knees to the
just finding a strike. And just popped her head out here right here.
Yeah, good on her, man.
Look at that. That's the knockdown in the back left.
Oh, yeah,
shit.
That was clean. That was her right hand right there.
Yeah,
good on her.
It's hard to see if like that. Yeah, that's a good knockdown, but it's hard to see if it was like one of those ones that like Raul had where like turned her lights out. I think it was more like off balance, got hit.
I think this is one where she said, "Let me roll back more so I can face her."
Yeah, like I think she had to make a like rather than just sit to her butt.
Yeah,
but I mean, she was getting beat up in the clinch right there.
Well, let's point this out. Even if this is Grasso's round, Shevchenko working from inside of the guard is not a terrible place if you're losing a round. Like you still look okay. Where you're like, yeah, my arm, I can't get it out to punch you. And maybe she's doing a good job of mitigating, and she might sneak out with this round, but this is fucking still dangerous. Great up kick here by Grasso. I would love to see Grasso maybe just stand back up at this point, but she might be waiting for Herb Dean to be like, I'm bored here. Let's go back up. But Shevchenko, that's just the violence, dude.
Yeah.
Every fucking time. Like, anybody could fucking kick you from standing up, but she's just like, no, let me put some power into this fucking kick.
Let me fucking hit you really fucking hard. And you're like, God damn, dude. I do not want to take those fucking kicks, dude.
Now, here's what's really cool. You were talking about the fact that you had Liz Carmouche in your corner.
Yeah.
Liz, a beast.
Yes.
Also been in the game for years. What did you feel like she was able to give you advice or to help you out with?
She's awesome, like just all around. Like she's just got that experience from being in the game for so long of like kind of like how she likes to handle fights, like how she likes to like get ready for her fights and all. But also as far as like specific techniques, like she's got really good wall work. And I think it's just a very underrated part of her game. She's very good at pinning on the wall, and it was kind of cool to like. She's good at throwing, like hitting, like throwing, like making throws happen off the wall too. She works a lot with Justin Flores when she's in San Diego, so kind of makes sense. But dude, honestly, I think fucking Shevchenko might have won that round back with just kind of ground and pound and top position.
That's a tough one.
That's a close one.
Because it was for half of the round she was in there. The only thing that concerns me is the control that Grasso had on the arm for a lot of it.
Yeah.
She cut the distance on some of those strikes, which made me kind of rethink things.
Yeah.
But it's more so those impact, because that few seconds that Grasso had, those were uncontested.
Yeah.
Everything that happened in that guard is kind of a little sketchy where you go, yeah, you're kind of getting those strikes.
I think you're right. I think you give that round to Grasso just because she looked like she was dazed on her feet more.
But again, it's close. And a credit to a champion like Shevchenko who goes, I might be down. Fuck that. Let me equal the distance. Because look, they're replaying exactly what we talked about with this knockdown.
Yeah. And
it's great.
This dirty boxing
and this whole series. But you know what? That response by Shevchenko was not bad.
Yeah.
I missed that the first time. followed by the
Fucking-
takedown.
That's a champ move.
This
right
could
there.
be a very interesting round to score.
Dude, absolutely. Oh, but going back to Liz, like,
Mm-hmm.
also, I think the thing I get the most from her is the professionalism. Like, everything she does is for fighting, and like that sounds like, yeah, obviously, if you're a professional fighter, that should be everything. That's not how most people are.
Yep.
Like, most people are distracted, or so like when she's getting ready for her fights, and it should. She's a world champion in Bellator and has been fighting these girls in the UFC for how many years? Like,
Yeah.
it is just like she's the top of the line. She's almost 40 and she's still crushing it.
Yep.
And you're like, to me, that's like, I'm like, when I like look at it, I'm like, I'm just so happy to get to train and know someone and call someone like that my friend, to be like,
Yeah.
oh my God. Like, also call Liz Carmouche your friend is sick. She's like, fucking Liz Carmouche. Like, she's
a
the
beast,
fucking-
dude.
she's the fucking
And
beast.
pioneer, beast.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned, like still fucking doing it.
Yeah.
Because when I saw that she was in her corner, I just thought, okay, that's kind of dope. Like,
it's so, I was like, it worked out because she was actually going to do the rest of her camp in Virginia Beach with the other guy that was in my corner, Chuck Martinez. He lives in Virginia. She does her camps with him, and he was getting back, and she didn't think she was going to be there for my fight. I was like, damn, like, bummer. And she said, she was like, oh, actually, I'm going to leave the next morning. I can come. I was like, fucking get in the corner then, lady. I was like,
What are you
"Oh,"
doing?
I was
Come
like,
on.
Let's go. Like, come on. And it was just really awesome to have her there. She's really been like, her and I just talk like,
Yeah.
all like whenever she's in town, we can just sit there for like an hour and a half just talking like all cool shit. Like, we talk a lot about like nutrition and stuff and how people fuck it up a lot of time. Oh,
Shevchenko coming in with
Locking up
this
this
guillotine right now.
guillotine.
It is 3:02 on this clock in the third
give
round.
me flashbacks to fucking Volkanovski, Ortega. type deal
Absolutely.
here.
And I got to be honest with you, like Shevchenko, I appreciate the fact that anytime it looks like she might be equally as competitive with somebody, responds with more aggression, with
yeah.
trying to equal things out and
Mhm.
saying like, hey, listen, maybe this isn't a fucking billion punches to your head, but this is creating a problem for you where even if I don't get the submission, it's got to be a dominant position for
Yeah.
me.
Mhm. Like, she can realize when she's winning.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I think that is something as a champion, especially when you are doing this for so long and trying to like make this reign happen.
Yeah.
Oh, look
Ooh,
at this.
back take.
Look at this.
Nicely done. That was like the first time I got to see kind of the welt. Like, there's a giant red welt on the back of Grasso's leg. But Grasso, listen, I'd like to say this is what I look like when you were taking my back today, but I did not look that composed. Like, Grasso looked like, what am I getting at the store this week? I might pick up some
it's like,
broccoli.
yeah, this isn't a big deal. Right
Yeah,
now."
no big.
She does seem very composed.
It's an impressive skill to have. And the weird part is, so I've learned a thing, which is if you have a face that looks like everything is normal when you're grappling, sometimes that can be intimidating. But if you're somebody whose back is compromised, the person behind you doesn't see your face. So it's not like it's intimidating. It's just like, oh, I can't see that you're not fazed by this. Shevchenko has no idea what her face looks like, but then just says, all right, cool. Let me just start cranking on the side of your chin to see if I can
Yeah.
continue working from this position.
Oh, dude, what a fucking. I love this
back
about
take.
MMA.
It's
yeah,
so
like,
dope to have your back compromised and be like, no, fuck you.
yeah. This
Fuck
is
you
what
sending this.
Volkanovski did with Islam. He was just like punching him from the back.
Yes.
And you're like, well, you are still losing, but it's pretty funny right now.
There's worse ways to be losing, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's not one of them.
Yeah,
You're still in a very good space right now. And again, I think she's probably realizing, she's like, you know what? I could probably take 40 seconds of this with that left in this round. I think
Yeah,
I'm going to be okay.
She's probably like, oh, just don't get finished right now.
Yep. And she's almost turned. She's almost in that space. This is one of the hardest things to do when you have somebody with a really good body triangle on you, trying to make that turn to the inside of guard. It is your life. It is your savior. It is everything. But way easier.
Like, look at how hard that is, even for her to just turn because she's locked up. She's almost turned, but look, she's got to like give up this armbar almost. Right?
Yeah,
look,
and Valentina's seeing it exactly what
like,
you're talking about.
Go right to this armbar.
Yeah.
I gotta move right. Look,
Ooh!
she's on that. Oh, not enough time.
And that will conclude the round. But if that had gone on for a little bit longer, ooh,
that's a spot. Good. That's 2-1.
Valentina.
I think 2-1 Shevchenko all day. Yeah.
All right, go to your next question, sir.
All right. Why do you think Anthony is a fraud of coming to this interview?
Afraid.
Oh, a fraud. I thought it.
I'm like,
it looks like a U right there.
well, okay. I want to make sure. I'm like, no, he's not a fraud of a human being. He's just afraid of coming to Grapple today.
Anthony, it does say afraid, by the way. Personally, I don't think he's afraid, but I think you got to say what you need to do to get him in here. I think he doesn't want to get bossed and crabbed.
Is that really what it came down to? He was like, maybe I'm free today, but no, fam, I can't get embarrassed like that on this show.
Yes.
Because I legitimately thought about it, and being able to tell him, like, bro, why aren't you coming? And he's like, I only had so many hours notice. And I go, okay, well, you could still come. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure Bobby hasn't left yet. And he's like, I was like, yeah, scared. I get it, dude. It's all good. It's all good, dude. I am just a host. Just a host. There's nothing to be afraid of. We're drinking, we're having food, we're watching fights. I don't know what there is to be afraid of.
We're good to go right now.
Exactly, man. Listen. All right, so 29-28 Shevchenko. She's up. So Kevin Iole, same boat here. So going into this fourth round with 4:22 left to go, we have some people in the Twitter comment section on the UFC broadcast saying that they think that Shevchenko is winning this fight thus far in.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that as well. I mean, the round 2 was close, but that you got to give the damage to Grasso, and that's what you're scoring off of too.
Yep.
Shevchenko is just such a good counter fighter. Look at every time Grasso's trying to lead in with that jab, she just probes with that jab too. Yeah. And then when Grasso overcommits, she try to like just counter her right there.
So as somebody who's made the jump from being more of a grappler to somebody who's now striking, what has been one of the best things that you have been able to learn from all of these great coaches and all of that? Like, what has been one of those determining factors that has helped you cross that bridge to being somebody who's like, yeah, I can kind of stand and bang?
It's kind of like learning. It's like relearning another martial art. It's like relearning jiu-jitsu again, but like harder because there's a less feel. Like jiu-jitsu, I can be like, yeah, you just feel this, right? Like striking is like you need to see this, and like you need to like the consequences. You getting hit pretty hard if you do it wrong. So that's an illegal. Those are illegal knees.
So
that was 3 illegal knees.
I counted 1 for sure. The other 2, at least 1 more of those barrage was guarded by that arm.
Yeah.
And that's where I go, fuck, that's the reason why I didn't jump in.
Yeah.
Because 1 was like, all right, if you get 1 illegal knee, it's kind of iffy. It's in the moment.
Yeah.
But then that second one, when it's blocked by there, I go, if that hand wasn't there blocking that 100% would have been an illegal knee.
You could be a whole.
Ooh, nice dump there by Grasso, who's now working on this arm bar. And I think you're at a place. Yep.
Look at that. Was a good rollout by Shevchenko. Damn.
That's fucking phenomenal. Legitimately, every time you think, all right, Shevchenko's kind of having her back against the wall, she's kind of hurt here.
She just does some crazy shit.
She does some shit where you go, oh, fuck. Wish I could, dude.
Just such a very well-rounded fighter right there.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, good for her.
I mean, legitimately, there's stuff that, nice
good elbow
for whatever. Holy shit.
I love those elbows. Oh, but as far as like striking, just kind of like learning it and like, it's been so long since I remember falling in love with jiu-jitsu. Just and like I'm always with it, but like to like fall in love with like striking and learning another art and learning how that art blends into the one I already know. Like it's really cool. It's really really cool. And there's just so many things that like my coach he doesn't he doesn't push me one way or another like very strictly. He's like he'll see how I spar and he sees where I tend to go more often and
Yep.
he works with that.
Yeah.
And then be, hey, here's some more options for you, rather than being like, no, you're gonna do it like this, like all the time. And like he gives us a lot of freedom with it, which is really, really cool. And I just kind of that's just the vibe in which he coaches into.
And it seems like it adapts it well to whatever your strengths may be.
Yeah.
So when you start to develop something like, okay, you've got this great jab. How do we work off of that jab? Okay, great. Maybe your overhand is really good. How do we set that up given your very good grappling?
Yeah.
And as you were commenting earlier with that combination that Jack was doing, where you go, oh, no, he's mixing it up well. And same thing with Raul, where you go, fuck, man, if you can mix those things up, it can have high rewards for you.
Absolutely. And if you're already coming into a fight where you are a dangerous grappler, you're going to be just already have like the given of like.
All right, let's take a
oh,
moment
that's
here.
a
With
tough-
5 seconds left to go, Grasso, Heart, Heart, right now, trying to go for a heel hook finish in a fucking UFC fight with 10 seconds left to go in the 4th round. Why the fuck not? Yeah, absolutely.
Fucking badass. Honestly, that's
Fucking love
sick.
it.
I got 3-1 Shevchenko.
3-1 Shevchenko. Okay, that's a tough one because I thought that last round was pretty. So the one thing that threw me off is Grasso's face started bleeding.
I think that was that elbow off the break that we
I
saw.
think you're right. But the problem is I didn't know how much that led my interpretation of that round because I still thought there were some great moments from Grasso, but Shevchenko biting down on the fucking mouthpiece and just having responses to all of these things is like, yeah, who the fuck is going to score this and how?
I think like when you go into like close rounds like that, a lot of like the way the judges are is like, what was like the end of the round looking like? Like, and I think Valentina looks like she was kind of like
it's tough
working
because
that.
I don't always think that's the case. I think that we know one of the judges. He's a homie out this way. The other two I don't know as well.
Who's the judge?
Mike Bell.
Okay.
So Mike is somebody who trains occasionally out here, and my favorite thing to do is if there's a wonky decision or something, and I see him at open mat on Sunday, I go, "What'd you do? Why'd you fuck that up, bro? You're having a good night, and then you fucked it up." And he might have 100% got it right. I'm like, "You fucked it up, man."
Yeah, you
Way to
fucked
go.
up.
And he always goes, "Okay, so Shevchenko right now
Live odds.
is the live favorite." Very, very interesting because you were mentioning how you thought in this fight that Shevchenko is ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think she's ahead. I think it's 4th to Grasso.
Okay, Kevin Ioli. That's an interesting one.
Oh, we got another
and
30,
a 39,
38.
38.
But
That.
easily could be a 39, 37. Grasso showing more layers, being opportune.
All
2-2.
I'm saying is that last round, it's wonky with
Oh, this is close.
how are you seeing
I can
Grasso's
see
face?
it being a 2-2 for sure.
2-2 is it's iffy.
Yeah.
I'm not on like confident ground on this one. And I love this. Either 2-2 or 3-1. Like, bro, pick a lane.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
that's the hard part is I'm like, yeah, it could be 3-1 or 2-2. I go,
But
both.
notice no one has it 3-1 in Grasso. You have it
That is true.
potentially 3-1
Okay,
in Shevchenko.
that is fair. I think we kind of see the momentum could be swinging back
Yeah.
to Grasso's
She
favor.
looks like she's kind of figuring out like her range right now.
Yeah.
Again, and like that's important.
I will say this. You may notice that this is a very different round in this respect, which is Grasso is trying to hold center of this octagon.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen that in the other rounds. I've seen more Valentina storming her down.
Yeah.
And it's just something that's a physical look of how this round is playing out. It's not necessarily doing anything. It's just her holding center of
And
it.
that does mean that when it comes like when they score each round, like at like
It can,
if this,
absolutely.
like that like comes down to the last criteria of scoring. All right, who held the center?
Yeah.
And generally that does look like the more aggressive fighter, but she's popping it with that jab.
All right. So let's do this real quick. If you're Grasso, what would you have hoped that her corner told her in between those rounds?
I think her corner is probably telling her like, "Hey, you need to stay in the pocket and you need to land your big shots," because that's where she's having the most success.
Yeah.
Shevchenko doesn't necessarily want to be in the pocket with her because she always comes and grapples as soon as she does it.
That's fair. Now, having said that, if you're Valentina's corner, what did you hope that they told her in between these rounds?
I think you can't, if you're Valentina, you can't think that you won that round as much as they may think it. You got to go out there and look for a finish. And I think back to your wrestling. You've taken her down so many times, and you can easily bank this round. Get a takedown, end up on top, score some ground and pound, get the judges to get on your side.
I think the hardest thing to watch in this fight has been, hey, Valentina, you got some takedowns here.
Yeah.
And they weren't contested. And,
yeah,
you know, maybe there's a little bit of gun shyness with somebody who choked you out, but you got a couple that looked solid. Oh, the trick. Oh, no. Oh, no. You know what? I'm a fucking terrible coach. What the fuck was that? Oh, no.
She went for this headlock takedown.
Shit. Well, okay. I didn't say do a headlock takedown. I feel like that's something else. Yeah. I said try to out wrestle her. And I feel like that's, fuck.
No.
You know what? This may be enough for the fight.
This is definitely going to win. Grasso.
Fuck. Because look at it.
It's like TKO. Holy shit.
Oh, shit, dude. And here's the wildest thing in the world to me. She's going for this rear naked choke again. Herb Dean is on the call. 54 seconds are left. Valentina is in trouble. There is a rear naked choke here. And you know what? Those hands are a little bit behind. Grasso has to give it up. She's going to try and get a few more strikes here.
Triangle lock now,
that body triangle is there, and that is going to allow her some time to tee off while at the same time looking to see if she can find underneath that chin. This is the worst possible place for a close fight for this fight to have ended.
Good for Grasso to fucking get to this spot. I mean,
yeah.
This is what champs do.
Yeah.
You figure out a way to win. And
fuck, man, because if you're thinking about this and you really had this scored closely, this is the last impression you have.
Yep, exactly. And that's what you're going to be like.
Because this is what people are going to live with in their memory, their collection of this fight is Grasso trying to go for it. And Shevchenko, listen, I get it. Put your hands up.
You got to do.
That's 100%. I think I'm a decent poker player, but I also have a propensity to be fairly honest about after I have a roll where I don't like, if I didn't be like, hey, there. So if somebody was like, Raph, you gotta sell it, I'd be like, I mean, he kind of took me down.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta be
like,
oh, fuck, was this closer?
He might have pulled it. Yep, here we go. All right, is this my last question now?
I believe so.
Okay, let me see. Yes, this is the last one in the queue for me. Let's see what this one says. And by the way, thank you for doing. There's some crossed outness here.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I couldn't spell, and then I used the word wrong.
You're all good, brother. Like, this is a perfectly acceptable question. Favorite childhood snack? Favorite childhood snack? Okay.
Mine's a cosmic brownie.
A cosmic brownie.
I fucking love those things.
Damn, bro. Good for you.
Specifically the Christmas tree ones.
Okay. I might have a couple, but I'll give you the one that like jumps to mind first. When I was a kid, I was obsessed with this sugary candy called Sour Patch or Sour Punch or whatever it is. The little sticks, the strings that had sugar on them. Like
Sour Punch, yeah.
Sour Punch, thank you.
Yeah.
They were my crack. They were my cocaine.
Oh, shit.
And it was so bad that I figured the only way to break the addiction was to illegally sell it on the playgrounds. So I would have my mom take me to Costco and I'd be like, hey, can I get one of those? And she'd be like, okay, sure. And it would be like all this extra version of it that no child needs.
Yeah.
It's supposed to feed you for like 2 months or whatever, or for Halloween. And I would literally create a black market where I'd be like, all right, so the price on the streets is going to be 75 cents for all of these. We're going to do these Reese's. I hate Reese's, but we're going to sell them premium $1.
I hate Reese's.
I don't, dude. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I love I love peanuts. I don't love peanut butter.
Oh, damn.
It's tough, and it's it's good for you, and it's a good way to keep protein, but I just...
Hey, if it's just not your jam, it's not your jam.
It's what it is. All right, we're waiting for the official result here. And both of the ladies, I mean, listen, even if you got to sell it, both of them have a reason to put their hands in the fucking air.
Seriously.
That was awesome, man.
What a fucking...
And let's be honest, all things considered, a fairly fucking good night of fights.
Very good nights of fights.
I had a feeling it would be pretty good.
Yeah.
I had a couple bad breaks for some friends, but it's split. God damn.
Oh, shit. It's a... Oh, my God!
We did. Oh, no. And Shevchenko just realized it's a draw. Holy shit.
Oh, my... They got to do a third. Are you fucking kidding me?
Okay. Let's hear what she has to say. Oh, God, that's the wrong question to ask first, DC.
That is.
But you know what? I don't think that's his question. I think it's the truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're like...
Hey, we got a
there
lot
you
of
go.
Mexicans here. Ask them about being Mexican or some shit.
Seriously.
Well, I did a lot of damage. All my punches were harder, and yes, I'm the winner.
You didn't win, though.
Oh, no!
When you walked to the center, did you feel like you had done enough, especially with the way the fight ended in the fifth round with 2 on her back?
Well, yeah, I think I was...
Yeah, these are all terrible questions, man.
Yeah.
So
That's... You know...
let me pause this here. Okay, media guy. If you have that close of a fight, don't go with bullshit questions. If you're an audience member, yeah, okay, I'll give you the fucking Mexico question first. The second question I'm asking is, that was a close-ass fight. Why do you feel you won?
That's a
Tell
better
me,
way.
give me the impression why you think that you won this very close fight. Follow up. Let them respond. Second question after that. Okay, great. You told me why you felt that you won. Did you feel it was a close decision? Like, how do you feel hearing that these judges thought it was a draw?
Yeah.
Give her a chance to say, like, I don't think that was a draw. Did you see what I did to her? I had her back in that last round. That was me. Give her that moment. If you're going to go to Valentina, then it sets up the, all right, that was you heard what she had to say. You're at a draw. What happened here? Did you think you won that fight? Of course I thought I won that fight. What are you telling me? It's a draw. It's some bullshit. I'm going to have to go back and watch it. Okay. How would you feel about it being a draw? I got to be honest with you. It's probably close. My round said this, or my corner said this in between rounds. Here's what I felt. This is all fluff.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm like, you have a moment. You have something that you can really, really expand upon. And we're just dropping this ball.
Yeah.
Thus, when you're like, I kind of like DC. I'm like,
These are the things where you're
this
like,
bugs me,
no.
and I don't know who to blame. If it's him, if it's people in the truck, but it bugs me because that's a moment. Like, both of them put the fucking work in.
Yeah.
Give them the chance to fucking talk it out.
I hope they interview Valentina for this one.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
If they are.
This is your...
I think this is vaguely a decent question. Sure.
That's a good way
Good
to
response,
answer it.
though.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Mwah.
I don't know. Let me ask somebody else.
What are you going to pay me?
Yeah.
Fuck off. I don't know. I'm not
Yeah,
Dana
you
White.
want me to
Dana White
fucking-
doesn't make fights on the night of the...
Yeah, you want me
Why am I
to
going to do
fucking fight this beast again? You're gonna have to pay me some
I
fucking more
just
money.
got done
Yeah,
here. Leave me the
seriously.
fuck alone. Okay, good. We're here. A plus.
Oh.
No!
Oh, That's some fucking suicide right there. Oh, that's how you lose.
You
them.
know what? This was worth it the
Yeah.
whole night. Even if we accomplished nothing, for her to be like, I want to say these judges are biased because racism. And also, if you think about it, like if it wasn't on Mexican Independence Day, I probably would have won. It's the wildest fucking. And you know what the best part is?
People are gonna fucking love and hate that shit.
Okay, sorry. let me rephrase this. Two parts of me. Brown side, whoa, where the fuck do you get off?
Yeah.
Rational, chill side. I mean, is she wrong? I mean,
may not be wrong.
fuck. Okay, no, I don't think the judges did that. I think they saw the same fight we did, which was
Yeah.
that was pretty close.
Yeah.
And knowing what we know, which is okay, it was a pretty close fight. You had a very different fight the last fight. This is good. This is good for the business.
Yeah.
So let's sell the third fight. And her being like, what did you say? Yeah, she didn't say shit. It was all like, I think I kind of won, blah, blah. Yeah, brown people stuff. She just made the third fight. All right, great.
Well, now she just got a whole fan base. It's like of people that were like, yeah, you know what? That does seem a little fucked up. And then all the Mexican people are gonna be like,
Hey,
yo,
fuck you. Go fuck
motherfucker.
yourself. No
I'm
Taco
done
Tuesday
with-
this week.
Yeah,
Fuck you,
yeah,
Valentina.
fuck you, Valentina.
And I love the fact that she just, I've never seen somebody be like, yeah, I said that shit.
Yeah, that's bullshit. And this is why.
Fuck. I hate respect this so much.
You made a lot of adjustments.
I don't know how you go back to any normal question and be like, I'm sorry, what did you say about that?
I do love the way she talks, though.
It is no,
Victory
she,
will be mine.
listen, she's my homegirl from so many performances. The fact that we don't get a salsa dance tonight, little sad, you know, those
Yeah.
little staccato moves that she does. Oh, cameraman, did you fucking just hit her? God
Fucking
damn
give
it.
her hardest hit of the
Everybody's
fight.
drunk tonight. What's
Yeah.
happening?
Mexican Independence Day, baby. Let's go.
You know what? Valentina's the person that's going, no, I'm sorry, that Mexican, she hit her because she's drunk. Sorry,
Yeah.
everybody.
I like that.
All right, here we
What's the
go.
47.
47, Mike. Oh, no.
10-8'd her on that last
It's Mike
round.
Bell's fault. Remember how I told you?
Shevchenko would have won.
Oh, no. It's a
That was
10-8
not
because
a-
of that.
That was not a 10-8 round. We were talking about this today.
And I was joking with the fact that he fucks things up. And then there's a 10-8 at the end, and I definitely have to have words with them about that.
Both of the other judges scored that 10-9
Yeah.
for fucking Shevchenko. Dude, that's a bad call. Oh, how do you give that 10-8? How do you give that a
Because she
10-8?
did get out of the body triangle, so I think he's going on the jiu-jitsu side, which
But there's no way it's damage. That it's got to be damage, right?
you know what,
We gotta. They gotta clear this fucking shit. Oh damn, dude, that sucks. We were just talking about this, bro.
I can't believe that came back to bite me in the end. I legitimately thought I was saying something like, I don't know, my buddy Mike Bell, we know one job. Oh no, he did fuck it up. Oh no, Mike Bell. In this show, I have famously left a message for him. I'm not doing that tonight. I'll just see him in person.
He's probably so sick of it too.
No, he laughed. He was like the time before. This time I don't think he would laugh. So, Mike, I know you may or may not see this. Sometimes you watch our shit. Sometimes you send us a note like, yo, it was really funny.
Is he part Mexican?
I'm gonna abstain from that question. I think he's Armenian, but he might have some Mexican in him too.
Shevchenko
Wow,
might be
wow.
wrong.
Hold on. Leave it to the white guy to also come on this show and be like, I don't know, it might be because he's Mexican on Mexican Independence Day.
I mean, how else are you gonna score that at 10-8?
Just the fact that it's like, I love that you go, I like the way she thinks. I think she's right. I think it could be. There's some foul play here. My friend, did you have the last question or did we already do that one?
That was my other. Oh, I got my last.
That's what I thought. Okay, let's do that camera over here. Sir, what is your last question?
My last question is, what is the most embarrassing submission you've been caught with? Oh my God, that is a good fucking question. So I'm a pretty firm believer in the buggy choke is the dumb. I don't like
Just the
it.
dumbest, right?
I fucking
Right.
hate it.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I
dumb.
absolutely fucking hate it. So I have made it a point that anyone that tries to put me into it, I like, you know, when like we talked about like crossing levels and like, oh, you just up the ante. If you throw a buggy choke on me, you best believe I'm gonna smash your fucking face into that mat as hard as I fucking can, no matter what light.
Hold on, I want to point this out. There was a moment where he was trying to TP choke me, and I was putting my forehead to try and get out of it into his face, and I legit had a moment of, this feels mean. I shouldn't do that. Now, granted, I'm the one about to die, and I'm more considerate, like, oh, he's a nice guest, and I'm thinking, like, he's murdering me. Why am I having this
Send
dilemma?
it. You gotta send it.
Well, the thing is, you've been so nice to me, and I know there's moments where you could have probably gone way more yoked out on me, and I just go, no, he's being pretty level, and then I go, hold on, I think I'm dying. Okay, great. So you go, there's only so much we can do here, but go on.
You know, my friends and I have talked about me being nice, and like we think it's a they think it's a defense mechanism that only benefits me. It's hard to make fun of me because I'll be like, oh yeah, you're right, I do suck. Like, and then they're like, well, I guess you can't really make fun of you anymore. And then if you're trying to be mean to someone that's really nice, then it just feels mean. And so they think, and then, but in that situation, I'm choking you, but I'm the nice guy. So you don't want to be mean to the nice guy.
No, I get that. That's exactly what I just pointed out, which is I'm like, I don't, what am I supposed
It's funny you bring it up because we've had this fucking conversation between my friends and I.
Because I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why am I being nice?
Fuck.
Yeah, but hey, very good joke. Anyway, as you were saying.
So buggy chokes.
Okay.
Don't like them, hate them. And then I went down to B team, and I rolled with Craig Jones, and he was just like, pretty much just letting me like fuck around.
Yeah.
Like he was just like, let me pass. So he like let me pass, and then he put me in a buggy choke. I was like, oh no, I'm not letting this shit happen. I was like, this shit doesn't work. No one's ever fucking done it. Bro, I was about to fucking go out, and I was like, I tapped, and I was like, I mean, if anyone's going to get me in a buggy choke for the first time, I'm glad it was him, but I'm still pissed that I got caught in a fucking buggy choke because I hate the buggy choke.
I don't blame you, but
much, bro.
Going back to the pro wrestling side of things, when people start to do the buggy choke on me, they have to like clamp onto you, like kind of like a baby gorilla, if you would.
Yeah.
Where they kind of get that thing, they hook it in. Because of the pro wrestling stuff, I literally just tombstone pile drive them.
That's
and
the
it is
way to do it.
It is the Undertaker's finisher, where you literally put them in between your legs. They're like about to be spike pile driven. And I go, if you try to fucking buggy choke me, I will tombstone you. I have no problem doing it. And I've caught it on a couple of the guys where I'm like, and they do this thing where I just kind of like land them softly and they go, oh shit. And I'm like,
Yeah, that'll fuck you up.
it really sucks, man.
Well, you know, the thing is, it's like I normally will do like the face thing,
Mhm.
stack them on their head, and then I like try to start lifting. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like, got put in it from him, and like within like 5 seconds, I was almost out, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me right now?" I was like, that on top of like 10 other submissions, and I was like, it was like right before his match with Felipe Pena for that one in Vegas that they did, and I was like, oh, you're just fucking around with me. I was like, there's levels to this game. Fuck.
To be fair, if anybody's gonna get you with some bullshit submission, it's not as embarrassing when it's Craig. It feels embarrassing because it's the move, but like Craig can catch these submissions that are highly, highly embarrassing on
and
anybody.
it's impressive to just do it on really anyone that you want.
Yeah.
Really. Like you're just like, oh, let me just do it to you, and then you're like,
You dick.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
You're like, how the fuck does that work?
I feel, listen, here's the good news. Between this one and your Miley Cyrus response, I'm like, you really don't have embarrassing shit. And then even when you're like, yeah, I get pretty competitive, I kind of like, game the system. I go, I mean, that's still in the realm of this. So really, you're pretty okay here. Meanwhile, I'm telling you, like, oh yeah, dude, things were not good for me. My childhood snack was diabetes part 1. Favorite combat sport, they don't come out here anymore. Depression. Your dream job. I mean, isn't this it? Fuck. I thought it was it. Shit. And then what is your favorite interview? I don't know, bro. It's not you. I can't say it's you. It's unfair. So between all those answers, I'm like, I don't know, man. I have to reveal a lot of shit. And you're just
conspiracy theory.
The conspiracy theory was all. By the way, you're right. This was a fucking dope question.
It was hard to lead with that one, man.
You know what? The worst part is, here's what's gonna happen. I feel like those were okay answers. If I think of something better, I will text you.
Absolutely.
Because I will like tell you, like, by the way, I do believe aliens are here. You know what I mean? Like some bullshit where I go, oh, I thought about it. You're right. Yeah. The pyramids, they didn't build themselves.
Didn't the Mexican president just release like alien remains?
They did, but you know what it looked like? Somebody did a thing where they showed as a gag that it was cake. And I go, you know what? I'd believe that too, honestly.
Yeah,
like even though it's supposed to be a joke, I'm like, yeah, probably.
Yeah, like
so. All right, let's do this. Let's close this up. I appreciate you for coming on down this way. Bobby, I cannot tell you this enough. As a quality of a human being you can be, you're also maybe, I'm trying to figure out the lineup here, but you might be a better fighter and grappler than you are as a quality human being. Sometimes it goes back and forth. But the fact that you would come up here, it is so awesome, and to watch these fights with us, to do the interview, to go with the punches. We both had some fucking weird ass shit that was happening to us today.
Dude, absolutely.
And I just thought about it, and I was like, you know what? These things are always a crapshoot. And I always tell people, I go, if they come up and it sucks, you're stuck with each other for a bit because you've agreed to do these things. And I go, well, I hope we're cool, and I hope it all goes well. And I didn't think like, oh, he's going to suck. I'm like, I hope we don't fuck this up. No, I thought from rolling to food to this to watching and all this, it's been nothing but phenomenal. So I appreciate you so much, my friend.
Dude, thank you, man. I appreciate you too. Thanks for having me up here, man. This is fucking awesome. I can't wait to do this again.
We will do this. And we didn't talk about this in your last interview. I realized something. You have trials coming up.
Yeah.
But you've also got another fucking fight lined up. So, camera, tell them when it is. Tell them what they can expect to see on December 9th.
15th.
Ooh, got that one wrong.
Close.
So close.
So for the fight?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, so December 15th, Cage Warriors, Sequan Casino in San Diego. If you follow my Instagram at Bobby Winther MMA, give you all the updates whenever we get an opponent. Blast that out to everyone. And what you can expect, exactly what you saw last time, from start to finish. I'm always hunting the finish. Give the people what they want. They always want to finish. I'm here to oblige.
Good man. All right, Bobby. We're going to close this up here. I'm going to do a couple quick little reminders to our friends, but I want to say thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Great stuff again today, my friend. I want to say this to you guys if you're watching over this way. Thank you so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, all that good jazz. And as a reminder, if you could do us a solid, go over, find us on Hi.page /Grappling Hour. Become a member, $5 a month. Pretty easy. You can do all that. It's fun. And you see these interviews 30 days before everybody else. And if you pay a few extra dollars, not only does it support the show, but you get to see content that's not available anywhere else. Join us on our Discord at Grappling Hour, and follow us on our social media at Grappling Hour on all those places. Guys, it has been a great day for grappling.